Welcome to the 116th episode of the Nerdom and Other Nonsense Anime Podcast. Today we are bringing you our final scores for the fall 2019 season. As always, we include timestamps and a description of the YouTube video and podcast feed if you only want to hear about one or two specific shows, since we will spoil every single thing. My name is Leo, and the stars have finally aligned for us to finish off this fall season. Or maybe I should buy a knife and finish off Bcom. Also with me are Bcom and Kat.
Hey.
How are you guys?
Hello.
Good.
How are you doing?
We're doing great.
We're doing fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bcom,
Yeah.
I heard you had a special message for our listeners.
Oh, yeah. There was something I needed to do, right?
Let me play this music for you. Hold on.
Oh, interesting.
Copyrighted now. Jesus Christ.
I can barely hear it.
I know you can hear it. Don't even lie.
It's harder to do it with the music coming through the microphone. It's too late. Like, cut that. Fuck. It's too late to apologize. It's too late. Oh, you want me to sing the entire song?
I wanted you to suffer. I want you to sing the song.
I think I deleted the lyrics. Wait, hold on.
You liar. You're just making it hard on purpose.
She's got the link right here in front of all of us.
This is your punishment. This is your punishment, because
You
take
tell
it like
me
a
that
man.
you need me, and then you go and cut me down. You tell me that you're sorry, didn't think I'd turn around and say it's too late to apologize. It's too late. Hey. All right, haven't done enough.
Yes.
All right, fine. Thank God. As some of you followers and listeners might recognize, we skipped a few episodes this season. Just a couple. Basically what happened was, first we got way behind in the beginning of the season. So that was the first thing that happened. That didn't help. But then in December, I had a lot of deadlines at January 1st or earlier for grad school applications. And so I was writing essays and wrangling together recommendation letters from professors and my former employer. And I was just fucking buried under figuring all that stuff out. And so I just did not have time to watch anime and write it up for the podcast. And then Christmas hit. And so it was just I couldn't do it. So basically it's all my fault, but it's too late to apologize. Basically.
Yeah, but we're at least still giving you final impressions.
Yeah, we're going to cover basically all the shows that we chose at the beginning of the season. And we're also putting out a podcast that covers episodes 3 and 4 that we recorded a million years ago and I never put out. So you'll at least have that. And then
I know, it was fucking last year, man.
It was. Oh my God. So yeah, that'll all go up with this podcast. So, and then we'll, winter season is just starting now. So we're going to jump on that and have impressions with that in the next couple weeks. So
yeah, and pretty much just be completely caught up with the season, which would be awesome.
Indeed.
But, since we've been gone a while, there's probably a lot of nonsense, but I want Kat to start first because she mentions the word pounding. And that sounds like Kat.
I can tell you other stories about my Christmas break that involve that, but I feel like those are and should be not talked about.
Probably not.
This pounding is it's pretty relevant.
Yes, we'll go with this one. So I did go for New Year's to a mochi pounding. And if you guys don't know, I think everyone who watches anime has seen this at least once, right?
We did cover the one show, the guys who had the restaurant.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of too, most recently. But yeah, mochi is a traditional Japanese sweet where it's rice that gets pounded into oblivion until it's like a sticky, gooey Play-Doh consistency, and it's delicious. And then they mix it with things, sometimes fruit, blueberries or coconut or crushed almonds, or they just put it in red bean paste. and that's also delicious.
I've never had red bean paste, but I know I'm gonna like it.
It's interesting.
So I had fresh red bean. It's not really a paste. It's almost like a sauce with like the beans in it. So it's like, but it's very sweet. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. I was like, oh, this is why people like it fresh. Because like the packaged mochi is okay, but the real like stuff is much better.
Well, with anything like fresh is always better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes me want to like. I'm like, why don't you do this more? Because the place I went is a Japanese grocery store, and they make some Japanese food there, and so part of me was like, why aren't you making this year round and like selling it?
Bitch.
Well, but like it's not that much of a bit. Like all they'd have to do is like once every couple of days do one batch of it, and then like make their own little homemade packages and sell them.
So how many people's hands did you break?
Yeah, when we were watching that anime, it was like Rokuhodo Yotsuro Biori is the anime.
Okay, good.
We joked about like just people breaking their hands because like there's like a folder. There's like a person who's like folding the mochi, and then there's the pounder with a huge mallet.
So they had 2 pounders in this thing.
Well, they were double teaming that mochi.
Yeah, they were. And then they had this poor old lady who like every once in a while they'd both stop and she'd like go in and like fold it. and like I'm just like, oh, I mean, they were very nice. They just waited very patiently for her to get out the way. So it wasn't competitive like what we see where they're like bam fold. It was more like very nice and they did let like people who were watching come and hit it, but it was very controlled. It was very much like you're gonna hit it 5 times and we're gonna watch you very carefully because we don't really trust you, but we're letting you do it.
Yeah, if you want to see an anime that has like a ton of that stuff in it, Tamako Market, the Kyoto Animation show, Tamako's family runs like a mochi shop. And so they're constantly doing all that stuff, like forming it and pounding it and everything.
Nice. But yeah, no, and I bought a lot of mochi and I ate a lot of mochi and I did do the mallet thing for a little bit. And it's heavy. It's heavier than you think.
Yeah, you could probably let the thing do the work, like more so than you just like
just let the gravity pull the mallet down.
It is.
That makes sense.
And how much do you want to bet that I spent in that Japanese grocery store that day?
$120.
You're not far off.
Oh, wow.
Because I walked around and I was like, they have sake. Ooh. And I had like bought several things of sake, and then I was like, they have Japanese sweets. All the stuff I used to buy on that online store, I know where to get it now. It's all in that fucking Japanese grocery store. Never have to pay shipping again. Fuck them. I'm excited.
Damn,
that's great. How far is this place from you?
20 minutes. Not bad.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, no, I'll be going back there. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I just recently, half a year ago, we just got a store called 5 and Below. And everything's like $5 or less, but that's not true because when you go in, it's $5, $10, and $15. But
they always lie about that shit. Like every dollar store, there's more there's shit in there that's over $1. I'm like, what is this scam?
Like they even had a sign, like a piece of paper posted on the door as you walk in. But I went in there and I just wanted to check the place out, and they had a whole aisle full of like Japanese snacks. They had, like,
that's awesome.
Ramune. They had like maybe 8 different kinds of pocky and just a bunch of other random stuff. And I was like, oh, I gotta come back here.
That's awesome.
I can stock up a bunch of stuff. Anything else, Kat?
Yeah, so I watched Star Wars. I think you did too, so we can debate back and forth about this.
I did not.
Oh, you didn't see it? Okay.
No, but as an outside view, I've heard a lot of people have a problem with it. I feel like the most common thing I've heard is that when the credits roll, people throw their hands in the air and go, "What the fuck?"
I was confused at the end of that movie. And like, I'm not a dummy, you know. It was just like I was like, how did we get to this place? Like,
I don't understand why they kept bringing up the one dude having something to tell her, and then that never got addressed. Ever.
Oh yeah, Finn. Yeah. Like that also pissed me off. That was like, okay, this got lost in rewrites. They claim that the thing that he wanted to tell her was that he was starting to feel the Force, which you can kind of see throughout the movie. But the way that they framed it and the way that they interacted in like The Force Awakens makes it seem like he has a crush on her and he wants to tell her that he's in love with her.
That's what I kept thinking throughout. I was like, is he really going to do that? Because that's going to be super awkward. And it's just not going to work well. And then like as the show went on, I was like, well, surely he wouldn't say it now because he's not an idiot. And like, I don't know.
I also heard the reason it seemed kind of like a mess was because there were two directors and they were both given too much creative freedom.
Well, yeah, for the whole series. So, like, you had J.J. Abrams direct Force Awakens, and then you had Rian Johnson come in, who's a really interesting, like, independent director, and he directed the second movie. And he had a lot of creative freedom to do what he wanted with that movie, and he kind of went his own way with it. And it turned out that a lot of fans were upset with the way that he went. I thought it was, like, all right, but I had my own issues with it. And then J.J. came back for the third movie. And basically, it seemed like from watching the third movie, he basically seemed like he was like, fuck everything that happened in the second movie. I'm just going to end this as if that had never happened, basically. And just, it was really weird. And so, like, the third movie is kind of rushed. It's almost two movies in one. And it's, like, competing with the other movies in the trilogy. So it just feels
Yeah, because didn't the second movie end with, her name's Rey, right?
Rey, yeah.
Yeah, finding Luke Skywalker, and then there was supposed to be like the training thing, and then they just completely skipped it.
No, so that the first movie ended with that, and they did the training thing in the second movie, and it was pretty interesting. The second movie ended with like the big bad villain guy Snoke getting killed by Rey and Kylo fighting together. And then Rey has to decide like whether she wants to like stay with Kylo and like walk this different path or like leave, and she leaves. And then a lot of people were disappointed in that because they wanted Rey to sort of be like a kind of like half evil, half good Jedi, because that would be something a little bit different than the past trilogies. Mm-hmm. And so, but like, so she didn't do that. But then the third movie, they kind of get together anyway, and so it just feels like they're just doing the thing that they should have done at the end of the last movie. I don't know. It just felt very weird.
That would sound strange to me because Star Wars has always either been you're either on the dark side or you're not. Mm-hmm. So like to have something in the middle would be, that'd be really weird.
Well, there's the stuff with Luke in Return of the Jedi where he's being tempted by the dark side as like the Emperor's trying to turn him against his father. But then there's the whole thing where he eventually does not turn. But he gets close. Like he starts like... He's like force choking guys in like Jabba's palace and stuff in the beginning of the movie. Like he's a little dark. He's a little emo Luke, but yeah. I don't know. I was like a little disappointed in it. I thought the Mandalorian TV show was great though. If you guys haven't seen that, you should watch it.
No, I've watched the whole thing, and then I've already rewatched the first half because the buddy came over. He hadn't seen it yet.
Oh yeah,
I still haven't seen it.
So much fun.
I'm just like meh, but I know I should. But
you should check it out because it's such a much smaller story. They're able to tell like a much more fun little tale that doesn't have like galactic consequences, but still like really satisfying as like a Star Wars fan to watch. So, I also watched a movie called Parasite. Have you guys heard of this?
Just like the anime?
No, unfortunately not like the anime. Man, I don't like that.
I haven't heard of this movie at all. What's this movie about? What is this?
So it is a movie. I don't want to tell you too much about it but it is basically a movie that is sort of like a social commentary kind of movie. Okay. But it is also sort of like a comedy film / horror film in some ways. But it's about class and wealth and the disparity between the two. And it revolves around two families, a rich family and a poor family, and how they're like interacting with each other. And it's a Korean film by director Bong Joon-ho.
Okay, yeah, I was just looking it up. It's a live action. Okay.
Yeah. Who directed like Snowpiercer, and like before that, like movies like Memories of Murder, which is really fantastic, and Mother, which is also really unsettling and fantastic.
Mother is fucking weird as shit.
Yes, it is.
And Snowpiercer is weird too. Okay, I went
this movie is weird as well.
I want to tell you a story. I went on a first date. Guess what movie we went to see for our first date?
Please don't say Mother.
Mother! We went and saw Mother for our first fucking date. That was our last date. I think that was most likely the reason.
That is not a date movie.
Oh my God. Neither of us knew what we were getting into either. We both went to the theater. We looked at the things. We were like, I don't know, let's just pick this one. And we just walk in, totally unknowing. We thought it was like, oh, this is like a horror movie, but we like horror movies, so it's fine. Mm-hmm. No, this is another thing. This is fucked up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, that's a real fucking weird... That's a fucked up movie. It'll make you think, yeah.
I mean, it was really good, but, like, I just kept looking over at him and being like, oh, no, this is weird.
One thing I'll say about Parasite is, like, the title makes it sound like it's going to be, like, some weird, like, body horror thing with, like, bugs or something. It's not. It's not that. The Parasite title is more of a metaphor, which you'll understand when you watch the movie, but... Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It's a really, really smart movie.
So is this out in theaters now, or is this like a...
This came out on October 11th.
It did come out, yeah. So it's like going to be out on Blu-ray here in like January. I was able to see it through other means somehow.
You say Blu-ray, but like, is it streaming anywhere? Because
it's not streaming anywhere yet. I think it's going to be streaming in January too, but I don't know where. But yeah.
Netflix will probably grab it. That'd be my bet.
I wouldn't doubt it because they had his last movie, like Okja or whatever, on Netflix. I think that might have been Netflix produced, though. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Speaking of Netflix,
yeah,
The Witcher.
Toss a coin to your Witcher.
God, shut up.
Anyways,
oh my God, that meme.
Plenty.
Dude, I've watched.
Sorry.
I think I've watched it twice already, and like. On one of my walls in my house, I got a giant diagram with like pins and lines, like connecting everything. And I'm still not entirely sure what is happening and what's going on at certain points. Kat, have you seen it?
I have not seen it, but I've seen like bits of it. So I've
seen the first half.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been over to people's houses and seen like little bits and pieces, which to me is even more confusing because I don't understand what is happening in the plot around the scene.
Jumping around a timeline.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like every episode. And it was really confusing for me. I guess I don't want to do too many spoilers, but like when the baby episode popped up, I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
I haven't seen that one yet. Okay, interesting.
Wait, you didn't see with
is that like early?
With Yennefer and the baby in the carriage and...
Oh,
I saw the part where they were like,
yes.
Oh, you have like a surprise like curse on you that means that you're going to have a baby or something. I saw that part and I was just like, well, this is strange.
So is it the one where she's like teleporting to protect that woman, Leo, and running away from like the bug?
That episode had me so fucking lost.
Okay, yeah.
It was so bad, and like I was just playing some Realm Royale with my buddy who watched it also, and he actually kind of figured it out, and he told me what that was all about. I'm not going to talk about it because it's pretty insane, but like even after being explained to me, I'm just like I just shake my head and blink my eyes, and I'm just like, sure, that's the explanation.
Yeah,
we'll just go with it.
Netflix came out and said like, so we greenlit the second season. It's gonna be a little bit more straightforward timeline wise, because I think they heard the feedback that like a lot of people were just confused. I think I mostly got it, but I think that's partially because I read about like, there's timeline kind of skipping and fuckery in this show. And so I was ready for it. But it's also like, I'd played some of the Witcher games, and that didn't really prepare me too much either.
They're based off
it's on the books.
Yes.
Yeah. Or like the short stories even in like one of the short story books. Yeah.
My question is, why the fuck is this so popular? Because I can't follow it at all.
Have you seen Henry Cavill naked?
Well, when Netflix promotes something, it generally does pretty well, or at least a lot of people check it out.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like if you're going to watch something for hours and hours, you should know what's happening in the plot. And I'm confused constantly when I watch bits of this plot. I'm like, what the fuck? But now I'm like, okay, now she's sleeping with this person. Now she's sleeping with this person. What's happening? Which one? I'm not sure. Okay, now what's this? Oh, now there's this weird creature. It was bizarre and confusing, and not a lot of explanation was going on. That's
watching it in bit and pieces would definitely make it 100% worse.
Yeah,
but it doesn't get much better when you just watch it and they just jump from like timeline to timeline. It would, honestly, if I had to compare it, it'd be like watching Legend of the Galactic Heroes, but you're just randomly watching each episode.
Yeah. Because it's telling like a huge tale, kind of. Yeah. It's hard.
And
but Kat, you underestimate how having hot girls with boobs out will make any show popular.
Yeah, that, and then Henry Cavill, he was there was the bath scene, and I guess he dehydrated himself for 2 days just so he would get even toner and ripped.
See, and I get so irritated by that shit because I know a lot of like athletes or like bodybuilders who will like do that right before they get. And I'm like, don't, like, that's so unhealthy. You're just draining all of the water out of yourself. Ugh.
Yeah. But I saw that tweet going around that like the leather workers like who are clothing Henry Cavill for the show or whatever with his like, you know, all of his leather armor and stuff he's wearing, saying that like his muscles were so big that they would just like wear out the leather.
I heard that too.
Armor.
Like they kept having to like repair his armor because he was just like destroying it or whatever. Yeah.
That's Superman right there. Jeez.
All right,
oh, man.
That's enough of the nonsense.
Okay,
let's
sure.
move on. But we will first talk about some of the shows we watched outside the podcast that we went pick. Kat, did you watch anything else? Just off the bat.
I didn't. I watched all of the first season of Chihayafuru.
Oh, that's good.
Because I wanted to be nice to Bcom.
Yay. I appreciate that.
Good, because I'm not going to be nice about it. Okay, Bcom, you watched the most. How about you just start?
Yeah, I'll start. Okay, so I watched Food Wars Season 4. I did not like this season very much. Like, I had fun because I watched it with Andrew from the Recovery of the Anime Junkie podcast, and we had fun, like, just chatting over it, but, like, both of us were basically like, this is one long tournament arc, but it's not a good tournament arc. It's just kind of boring, and we can predict, like, how all of these freaking matches are going to go. All these shokugekis are going to go.
Which tournament are you at?
So it's the tournament where they're fighting against, they're getting judged by Erina's father and stuff at the end of it, basically. But it's like to determine whether they're going to get kicked out of school.
Okay, yeah, I know which arc you're at. Yeah.
Yeah, or follow his dumb way of cooking where like everybody follows like the same recipe or whatever. It's crazy. So yeah, like it just was not very satisfying. Like I think it would have been more fun to just read in the manga so you could get through it faster. It feels
That's
drawn
what
out.
I did.
Yeah. I gave that season like a 4 out of 10. Like it was not good. It had some fun moments, but like yeah, it's oof. There's one more season coming, so maybe it'll be better. I'll talk about my next show, and then how about you go after that, and then I'll do 2 more.
That sounds good.
So I watched the second season of Bokuben, We Never Learn. I got pretty bored with that season, honestly. So they introduced like a new character at the end of last season, like Ashumi, who's like, I like her because she's like the most like emotionally mature character, who like can see through like kind of the bullshit romantic shenanigans of everybody else. Like I liked in the first episode of season 2 when they're all sitting around a table and like she's just listening to them talk, and like you can hear her inner monologue just being like, these guys are idiots. Like they should just fucking tell each other how they feel. God, like it was funny. I really disliked their teacher though, and mostly how they used her. Like she's really cute and all, but they make her such a huge ditz. And I swear she spends more time like on the floor, face down, ass up, than she does actually standing upright.
Face down, ass up. That's the way we like to fuck.
Indeed, yeah, like that is like.
Oh, man. It's sad
so
that
ridiculous.
I immediately start singing. Okay, all right.
That's the same thing. Don't worry, the same thing came right to my head too.
Yeah, Leo's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and the ending was really weird too, because they there's like an after credits thing at the end of the last episode where they kind of jump forward, apparently, to like the way the manga looks like it's going to end or something. And I was just really I was sort of happy at the same time as like very unsatisfied, because I was like, I like the person that seems to have become the chosen girl, but I also feel really unsatisfied in how they got to this point, because it just feels so rushed. And it felt like it was going another way for the last 3 episodes of season 2. So it just feels like dumb to even have included that, unless they never thought they were going to get another anime again or something. I don't know. It just feels dumb. So I was upset with that. It was not so good.
What was the score?
3 out of 10.
Okay. I only watched one of the shows outside the podcast, and it was Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun. Just only mid-season, so it's still going. It was just this odd shonen show that I kept finding myself like I would need to kill like 25 minutes or something, so I would just bring it up, or I'm going to eat this meal, but I'm going to go back to gaming, so I'm just going to watch this episode real quick. And it was just surprisingly, like, I did not expect it to be good at all.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it has, the way it's animated is like, what's very visual about it are the colors they choose for everything. They just like really pop really well. All the characters are very unique. Each one's written very well. And then what really, really got to me was there was 2 different episodes with a character called Clara. And when the episode ended, I was like, wow, that has actually a very good lesson to teach you. And like the first one was with Clara, and it was about like bullying or being taken advantage of. And like, you know, she kind of knew the whole time, but then she gets back to him in the end when she makes like really good friends with the Iruma-kun. And then there was a second one, also with Clara, she's trying to gain some like sex appeal because like the Fox president lady is like super hot and she's spending a lot of time with Iruma. And so she like wants to get the sex appeal to like win Iruma back to her. She thinks that's the only way. But then like in the end, she just figures out it's better just to be herself. And like that moment when she figured out to be herself, like came across so well that even like Iruma was like, oh, you are kind of cute, I guess. Man, I was not expecting that from the show. It's just like a weird shonen show. And like it surprised me. But I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
That's cool. It's nice when good shows show up out of nowhere like that.
Yeah.
All right, the last 2 shows I've watched the first half of Fate Grand Order Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia. So I don't think this show is actually very good, but there are 2 things that I'm like totally here for in this show. And one of them is Jaguar Warrior and her fucking antics, because like she was already funny in like the cutscenes in the mobile game, but like they've just taken so much pride in animating the crap out of her doofiness that it just makes it even more hilarious. Like she just, whenever she shows up in this anime, I just have a smile on my face and I'm loving life, and I just want to keep watching. It's so much fun. Like she literally just dresses up in like a jaguar kigurumi and like fights, and it's just goofy and it's hilarious.
I think I saw there's a little bit of meme going around about that.
Yeah, there's some really good animation in this show. Like they apparently have like recruited a bunch of great animators to work on this. It's not always well animated. There's some like really janky CG in there at times when they do crowd stuff, but at points it's animated really well. And like, yeah, the other thing I like about the show, like pretty much everybody else, is Ishtar or Ereshkigal whenever she's involved. They're both fun. Ishtar is a huge like tsundere, and she's really cute. She looks like Rin from Fate Stay Night, so she's hot. And Ereshkigal is like sort of the flip side a little bit. She's really sweet, but also conniving. But yeah, like the main characters are like by far like the worst part of this show. Like the main duo of like Mash and the main guy are just boring as hell. And I think they even make Gilgamesh, who is like a fan favorite character from Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night, kind of boring in this show. Like I never thought I'd be bored watching Gilgamesh on screen, but like I just don't like his character in this version of Fate as much. He just isn't as much of like a total bastard as he is in like the other series, which makes him really cool. So yeah, I just wish there was like a little bit more with him. But yeah, I'm still like happily watching it. I would say it's like perfectly average, so I have it at a 5 basically for now. And the last thing I watched was season 2 of High Score Girl.
You loved the first season, if I recall correctly.
I did. I thought it was really good. I thought
which surprised me because I've read the manga and I was like, I just didn't understand why you loved season 1, but seeing what you bring to season 2, I'm like, all right, that's probably what I was hating on. It just wasn't in season 1.
I bet you it was. So like, season 1, like I loved the girls, especially the main girl, and like I loved the nostalgia for that era of like arcade video games. Season 2, they really sort of like drop the focus on that a lot. Like they do play video games, but it's not as focused on that as it is on like the love triangle aspects of the anime. And they totally fuck up the love triangle. It's real bad. They just do one girl like real dirty. It's brutal.
Is that the blonde one you're thinking about?
I didn't want to give it away, but it is one of them, and sure. We're spoiling everything. It's the blonde girl, yeah. They like kind of cut her out of like most of the season. They don't even give her like a shot. Like there's like a big tournament where you would expect her to like show up and like do well and like fight for like the main guy against the other girl, and like that doesn't even happen. And like the last scene with her is her just like basically just self-destructing and like telling him to go to the other girl, and it was just like, oh my god, really? Like this is brutal. This is totally brutal. Like, oh man, it was bad. I don't know. They had so much goodwill set up from the first season, and they did not capitalize on it in the second. It was really sad. And that's coming from somebody who like wanted the main pair to end up together, because I really like them a lot. But like I also liked Hidaka, and I wanted her to have a better ending than she got, which was not what she got. So, oh well. All right. And I have 3 out of 10 for the second season, when I think the first season was at least a 7 for me, maybe an 8. So yeah, that's sad.
All right, we can move on to the shows that we did cover for the podcast. And our first one is Legend of the Galactic Heroes, second season.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. All right, so what did you guys think? Like, personally, I find myself when I judge this show just comparing it a lot to the first one.
Same.
And it's hard because I'm like, if I judged it on its own, it would be different, but I can't because, yeah.
I couldn't compare it because I never know what's going on in this show.
So
you just have to focus. You just have to focus, Leo. It's okay.
For me, I watched this with Andrew as well, and like a lot of it was us going like, wait, did that happen in the original series? Or didn't this happen in the original series? Because like we've both seen it, but it's been a little bit of a while since we've seen it. So like I think there was like a couple times where I noticed that they like left important kind of things out that just were like extra context that made scenes more powerful. Like the big thing with Jessica Edwards and the protesters being killed like in the middle of the season, I thought just worked better in the OVA because like there was more setup and there was more of Yang's reaction to it.
I know nothing about the original stuff you're talking to, but like me watching that episode, it's literally, it comes up and it goes away within like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and then we're just done with it. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it was like big enough for me in the original OVA that like for the first 26 episodes, like Jessica Edwards, like because of that arc, became like my favorite character in the series. Like I thought she was so cool. Or just like really well told story of like trying to stand up to this like war machine and stop it before it just kills more and more people. I don't know. So like there was like some moments like that where it didn't necessarily live up to the first season for me, or the original OVA series, but for the most part I still think it was a pretty good retelling. I thought all of like the space stuff and all of like the CGI ships and everything they did was amazing looking. And for the most part, like a lot of the stuff worked really well for me. Like everything with Kirky worked pretty well. What did you think, Kat, how they like handled like the big moments of this show?
I thought that when Kirky died, that was like a big moment that they did really well. Like when Reinhardt talked to his sister, and you could just see like Reinhardt's like, oh fuck, because like he always suspected that maybe his sister loved Kirky Ice, but like now he knows, and he's like, I took my sister's only happiness that she may have had away.
Yeah.
So
Mamoru Miyano does the voice acting for Reinhardt, and I just thought he did such a good job, especially after Kirky Ice passes away, like just portraying, like, so they say in the show, like, it seems like he's lost half of himself, and I feel like Miyano did an amazing job, like, portraying that, through Reinhardt's voice, like,
he came off really well,
and like, just the sister, whoever does the sister's voice acting did a good job too, like, the moment where she's like, it's better if we just don't see each other for a while, I'm like, oh fuck, that's like the harshest thing she could have said, like, she could have said, like, fuck you, I'm upset, and it would have been less hurtful than that, I feel like. Then I just feel like we shouldn't see each other for a while. Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, another thing that was interesting, so in the OVA series, it's just like a nitpick. So when that guy Ansbach, who is like a second in command to the Duke Braunschweig, he comes, like, in with the coffin, and he takes, like, a bazooka out and fires it.
Yeah.
In the original series, in the original OVA, like, you get more setup for that. Like, he basically, like, had the rocket launcher hid inside of, like, the body of Braunschweig. Because, like, the way they showed in this series, like, you're like, wait, did you just pull that out of that coffin that has, like, an open top, like, that anybody could see through? Like, how did he hide it? But, like, yeah, he apparently hid it inside of the cadaver. It doesn't really come through in this series as much. This seemed kind of goofy. But yeah, like, it works well enough. It's fine. And the real tragedy there is that Oberstein has gotten to Reinhardt and, like, had Kirky Ice's pistol taken away just before that. And so,
he
like,
could have ended it immediately and everything would have been okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, okay, so the Artemis necklace.
That scene was awesome.
So
I was disappointed.
I actually liked the original way they did that better than this one. I thought that in this like version, it didn't seem as big of a plot point as it is. Yeah. I thought in the original they made it more obvious, like, this is, oh my god, this is a big deal. Like, in this one they're like, oh yeah, this thing, and then they, like, get rid of it.
That was my complaint, because like, they introduced this cool planet defense system, and I was like, whoa, and then 5 minutes later they fucking blew it up, and I was like, that was it?
So in
you
the original,
couldn't have done more with this?
In the original OVA, there was, like, this other planet that had the same defense system. And so, like, you knew how powerful it was already, and, like, you knew also that it was possible to take it out. And so, like, they had already kind of set that up, and so, like, you knew that going in. In this, it just kind of is really quick.
No, I think if it's not 5 minutes, it's 10 minutes that you learn about it, see it, and it's blown up. And it's just like, all right, that's done. Let's move on. And I was like, it seemed cool. I thought you could have done more with it. Okay, but it sounds like the original, they did do more with it, so.
Yeah, it suffers from cutting it down into, like, these 4-episode-long movies. Yeah. It's so well. You know, yeah, I think it still comes across okay. Like, I thought just it was, like, a cool visual this time around, but I think Kat and you are both right that, like in the original, when they had more setup, like, it was better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you guys, yeah, go ahead, Kat.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. And then the sunglasses. So I don't think that's even a thing in the book. So when Jessica dies, like, in this version, when Yang finds out, he puts on sunglasses for a whole day. I don't think that that's even in the books. I think that that's something they made up for this thing. And I'm like, why? Why do that?
It makes it so goofy.
He's grieving.
It does show he's grieving, but it's also, like, so goofy at the same time. He's like, why are the fucking sunglasses? Because, like, he is devastated, because, like, he knows that, like, in the original series, you get more info about how, like, she was, like, in love with him back in the day, but his friend, like, Jean Robert, whatever his name is, like, made a move on her first, and so she got together with him, but then he dies in the war, and so, like, Yang is always, like, thinking, like, woulda, coulda, shoulda with Jessica, and then this happens, he's just devastated. Especially because, like, he feels like he's let down his friend, too, who died, and, like, wanted him to take care of Jessica. And Yeah. So like, yeah, I don't like the sunglasses thing either.
Do you guys have any nitpicks with the space battles?
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, I did too. I had the exact same problem.
I mean, I think I had the same problems with the original. It's like basically the author took like Napoleon's like war plans, like,
okay,
and basically applied them to space where there's 3-dimensional movement, and so it feels like really dumb when ships just show up out of nowhere and they just attack each other from one direction. You could wish there was more like 3-dimensional thinking in the strategy, but it's kind of limited by the way the author wrote it back in the day.
Well, yeah, and there's also like we actually don't really know how a space battle would work.
Yeah, it's
but
true.
Like throwing in, like you said, making it suddenly 3-dimensional, you're just like, oh, how? I mean, it would be slightly similar to like dogfights, airplane dogfights, but like even then, they're still kind of restricted because of the gravity.
Yeah, exactly. It would be. I feel like it would be like these like shifting masses of particles. Almost, you'd have to like study like wave particle motion to understand how fleets would move. You know, right? Like I don't know.
Oh, one thing that kept popping up in the back of my head is there is a crazy amount of spaceships.
Yes.
So there has to be this like just phenomenally, absolutely massive spaceport somewhere where they're building all these ships.
Well, you see some of that occasionally, like at the Geiersberg Fortress area. Like you see some of the ships docked, and
yeah, but it just looks like a docking bay. That's where they're already made, they're already functioning and doing their thing. Like, and just the amount of workers, I'm like, there's just like another. It's probably not even a city. It's like another fucking country that's building all these crazy amount of ships.
It's funny because this is the same problem I had with the last Star Wars movie.
Oh god.
The Emperor just like wills this huge fleet of Star Destroyers into existence. It's like, who the fuck built these? What the fuck?
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's each of us.
Well, okay, no. I want to talk about the stadium massacre.
Stadium, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like that was really well done, and I felt like it was almost very like poignant politically. Like it's a good example of what would actually happen like realistically in this kind of a civil war in a modern time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what the show does well. Like I agree that sometimes the author like doesn't imagine well what a space battle would be like. But he is very good at imagining like political stuff.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
That.
Yeah. It feels like prophetic almost sometimes.
Oh, yeah. So sometimes you're like, oh, and that sounds familiar to me.
Yeah.
And I like the way everything is multi-toned in the series. And this is just a thing that I want to say about the series in general. Because like Green Hill in the Civil War is really not being a bad guy. Mm-hmm. Like... And I want to make like a couple comments about the series as a whole instead of just comparing it, because it's important to do, I think. So like Green Hill is not being a bad guy, but he's still doing this bad thing, but like he has good intentions. I like the way there are no like evil people in his stories, because I think that's very important, because there are no really evil people in the world. There are people with shades of darkness in them, right?
Yeah. Even Braunschweig, the Duke, I think it's Merkatz, who says, like, don't blame him too much because he's a sick man. He's sick from these hundreds of years of noble privilege that have poisoned his mind.
Yeah, like, really, he's a victim. And I'm like, well, I mean, that sounds like bullshit, but, like, honestly, I know. Like, when I went to college and I saw some of these privileged motherfuckers in my classes, I was like, holy shit, they're almost handicapped by their own privilege. I almost feel sorry for them. So I get what he's saying. It sounds a little facetious when it comes from someone, but I get what he's saying. But yeah, it's interesting. And then like on the other side, I mean, Reinhardt is not a bad person, but he's easily swayed towards that. And he needs that guiding force in order to keep him on a decent path. And then now you see the force go away. Like first he's kind of like, oh, maybe I don't listen to Kirkiais all the time. And then he loses Kirkiais, and then you just slowly see the dissension. So, like, it's interesting. Just the ways that he manipulates the characters and how he writes his characters. I really like To me, what I like the most in a story is really well-written characters and a good plot. And this story has both in spades.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, yep.
Yeah, it's tragic when Reinhardt allows himself to be like persuaded by Oberstein to let that nuclear attack happen.
Oh, yeah. And it's just like, and you know, and I honestly wonder sometimes if Oberstein didn't like know that there was going to be an assassination attempt. I kind of do think that, and was like, oh, well,
he definitely didn't jump to help.
He's like, I'm going to like let this play out just the way that I had him do the assassination attempt, like do the, nuking of that planet. And then I'm going to be like, oh, so sad that Kirky Ice is gone.
Yeah, but how
convenient for me.
That?
I don't know. But I will say he definitely didn't jump to help like Kirky Ice did.
I would say it turned out pretty good for him. But yeah, I don't know. But and then
also that guy had terrible aim with that bazooka, I just have to say.
Oh, I know. And it's just like really but yeah. And then the overall debate in the show is like really interesting to me because it's kind of like what gives you the right to have power, and like what is a good use of power, and when is it righteous and when is it not, and like do the ends justify the means, or really is it like how you got the power that's important, like what I mean? It's all these debate about how you should run a country and how you should use power, and it's very interesting, and there's all these different perspectives. And I think what's interesting about it is that none of them are necessarily wrong. They're just different opinions that he's pitted against each other in his story. Mm-hmm. He's not taking a side as an author and saying, this is the correct one.
Yeah, he has these two great leads, like Reinhardt and Yang, who are total foils for one another, because, like, Yang, you could see, just, like, he wants none of this. He doesn't want to have power, but he feels compelled to wield it because the universe is so messed up that if he doesn't step up and take that type of power, then all these idiots are just going to be greedy and they're just going to get more people killed and war is going to keep going. And so, like, he just wants to go retire in a cabin and drink wine, like he says, or whatever, but he has to.
And honestly, like, as everyone knows, Yang is one of my favorite characters in anime, period. Mm-hmm. Like, if I could spirit as an adult any character in anime away and like marry him and make him my husband, it would be Yang. I'd be like, come live with me.
Okay.
He's interesting. Well, no, he's cool. He's smart. He's analytical, interesting. He's overall an interesting character. He's one of my favorites. So,
all right. Yeah. So I rated this show at the end 8 out of 10. Because I just thought it was really a really solid remake. Like, I had my nitpicks here and there, but I had a great time watching it, basically.
So, okay. I would say that the show as a whole, like, the series, I would give a 9 out of 10. The remake, I would give an 8 out of 10. Because I think that they cut corner. So, for me, I like that they've updated the animation. I wish that they had just updated the animation, done slight differences in the plot, but like kept it long the way the original is, because they cut certain areas of the plot out, and that's frustrating to me.
It is frustrating, yeah.
It's just because I'm such a like obsessively stickler. I'm like, no, but you didn't put that in, and it's important. And
it also sounds like I've picked up on that, not knowing the original. So
yeah. So I gave it a little bit of a point off, but it's still Legend of Galactic Heroes. Still one of my favorites. So
yeah, 8 out of 10. Sure.
Yeah, I get a 7 out of 10. I'm pretty much lost the whole time, but it's still very entertaining to me. I recognize it as a good show. So that's pretty much my final say in it. And still talking about stars and space. Yeah, stars align.
So I want to say one thing about the show off the bat, and it's something I read afterwards because I was like looking for answers after I finished this, because it ends on a huge cliffhanger. And so first things first, like apparently what happened is like the production staff originally thought they were going to have 2 cores for this anime, so twice as many episodes as we got. And then they were told by like the production company at some point, like pretty late in the production process, like, no, actually, we're going to need you to just cut it down to, like, 1 core. And so then they had to make a choice, like, oh, do we try to, like, cram an ending into this season? Or do we just cover half of the content and then hope we get a second season.
So you're saying it was doomed to fail from the beginning?
Well, it was doomed to end on this cliffhanger at the very least. So that's unfortunate. So I hope we do get a season 2 at some point, because then the show made more sense to me after I had seen that. Without having seen that, I thought that the ending was like horrible, like horrifying. Because like it ends in a very dark place. For a show about like tennis. I don't know. So like,
was it about tennis or was it about parents being fucking
that was reductive
dickwads?
Well, it's about kids who have abusive parents in multiple different senses of that word. Like whether they're helicopter parents who are like handling like their every move or like deciding what's best for them at every second.
But like this is an issue that happens a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I wouldn't argue that any of these are not, like, very real issues. I think my problem with the show in the end was that there was just too much. Like, every single person in this club
I have it highlighted in my notes. Every single fucking player.
There was some of them that could have been cut, and it could have just been focused more on...
I agree.
So, like, the one with the adoption...
I
was kind of like, that didn't really need to be in here. Like, that's too much. Like some of them.
Sorry, you go first.
Some of them were good. Some of them, like the main ones, I thought most of them were good. There were some like of the tertiary ones where I'm like, maybe you could cut that one. Maybe you could cut that one. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just so that there'd be fewer and they could focus more on the ones that they wanted to focus on. But I didn't think that. I actually, and I know that you especially were like very annoyed by the over like helicopter parent one. Mm-hmm. But I honestly thought that was really a good, because I've seen that exact thing.
Yeah, that's true.
And like that can be almost more like crippling for someone's sense of self and like their development than like hitting them every day. Because you're just destroying all of their individuality as a person.
So, yeah, if I see the situation in an anime or I see it in real life, I have the exact same reaction. I'm like, you're being stupid. Fucking stop it. So, like, seeing that somebody made the creative choice to put this in their show looks so dumb to me.
Well, why? Because like they're addressing something that isn't often addressed in an anime. And they're like, this happens, this is a thing.
Because they're just like, I don't know, promoting that some parents are dumb and that it's obvious. And like, I hate seeing it in real life. So I don't want to see it now.
Is Violet Evergarden promoting the idea of PTSD because it talks about it?
No.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's addressing a topic that doesn't get talked about a lot. And that's interesting.
I think they could have done it better, like somehow overcoming this situation, which happens not once in this entire show. There's like no good outcome. There's no good way of dealing with it. It's just shitty situation. You're stuck with it with your shitty life. And that's like the end of it.
Well, I mean, that's very much being a kid in those situations, because there is no way to get out of the situation until you get old enough to do something about it.
I beg to differ, because Bcom mentions restraining.
Well, so I guess
like 20 times.
So like Maki's mother, I think, tries to get a restraining order in the beginning of anime, but it doesn't get granted or something, or whatever. Either way, like the husband continues to like find them and like beat the kid and like steal money from them.
I see, and that's total bullshit that she wasn't able to get a restraining order. Give me a fucking break.
That's the part of the show that's like weird to me, because then it forces this whole thing. Like, so at one point in the anime, like Toma, the glasses kid, like comes, like Maki tells him like what's going on with his father. Like he opens up and lets him know like what's actually happening. And then Toma, instead of being like, well, we should get like a restraining order or something, like we should tell your mom, and then we should tell the like police, like, hey, like we really need this restraining order because like this kid's like in immediate physical harm. Instead, their solution is to like go to the house, and Tomo's like throws money at the dad, and he's like, I'll kill you if you do anything again. And it's like, that's that's a cool anime moment, but it's not like an actually good solution to that problem. That's just putting more people in danger. Toma's now in danger as well, I feel like. And then that plays into why I really strongly dislike the ending. This is a huge spoiler, so if you're ever going to watch this series, like, maybe tune out for like a minute. But like, yeah, like, Maki basically, after the final like happy tennis match, basically like with Toma, where they don't win, but they like they play a really strong match against like the two national champions who are like twin brothers, and they lose. Then like finds out when he goes home that his mother is like missing, and he goes and buys a knife and then goes to find his dad to kill him. And I'm just like, this is not a healthy solution to any of these problems. Like,
that was my complaint. I was like, nobody figures out how to fix anything. It's also so awful and stupid.
It's so dark, and it's just like, no, like you.
That was a little too emo. I was kind of like, but also I will say, like I was saying before, when you're a kid in that kind of a situation, it can feel like there is no way out. It's not like when you're an adult and you have these options. True. You are powerless. You are in a powerless situation because you are a child. And you're stuck there, and it's your fucking shitty life, and you're stuck there until you're old enough to be able to have some power to do something about it. That is how kids in that situation feel. So like when you said that, Leo, I was kind of like, well, that's how it is sometimes when you're being abused as a child, because you're like, I have no power. I'm stuck in this shitty situation, and this is my shitty life. And when you're in that situation, sometimes you're like, but I do have the power to go to the store and buy this knife. Especially when you're going through like all of these hormonal changes, and like you're upset, and like, yeah, like I could see teenagers doing stupid shit like that, because teenagers are teenagers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I don't know. If it was like just that, I wouldn't like hate the series so much. Because like what the series is clearly trying to say is like, you can depend on like your friends to be there for you. Like you can build a camaraderie. You can build a second family with like these tennis players. Like, and you can all rely on each other to get through like tough times. And like, I think one of the best aspects of that was like the conversation that Maki had with like the non-binary kid.
Oh, yeah, that was really good.
Like, that was actually handled extremely well. Like, that's one of the better conversations about that whole issue I've seen in an anime. And that was just sort of, like, thrown into the middle of the show, and I thought that was really interesting. I think, actually, a lot of people picked up the show because it got a lot of, like, Twitter talk after that happened. But, like, yeah, there's so many things that are just, like, unnecessary, like when they go to play, like, the redheaded kid from, like, the super tennis school. And he likes like, all right, I'm going to play you guys. And if any of you lose, I'm going to punch each of you. And it's like, what? You just met this fucking kid. He's like threatening to punch them. And then like in the middle of their matches, like some of the guys from like our like hero school or whatever, they start like yelling during like serves and volleys at the other players. And they're like, the teammates are like, that's not illegal, right? And I'm like, no, of course it's fucking illegal. You can't do that shit. The chair referee would like toss you out of the match immediately if you were doing shit like that.
Yeah. I believe it comes as no surprise that like I probably was not going to like this show. I'd rarely like a sports anime, and then the drama's very hit and miss.
Sure.
But right at the very start, just like the first freaking episode, I was already annoyed with the characters when they were playing soft tennis and they're doing nothing but whining the entire time. Don't fucking play it. Go join another club. You don't have to be here. What? It made me just hate the characters. I found them so unrealistic, and like that just so ruined the show off the bat. Just first episode, I just couldn't take it, and it just did nothing and nothing just to get worse and worse and worse. The drama was just so over dramatized.
I didn't think it was over. I thought it was pretty good, except for a few choice ones where I was like, well, that was too dramatic. But overall, I liked it. I will say that...
like, oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Go.
I was going to say, like, remember Toma's mom, like, telling him that, like, god! That you disappoint me, and that's why I'm divorcing your dad. Finally,
that was so childish to come from an adult.
Holy shit!
I mean, but I have seen parents be that childish with their kids. Some parents are fucked up in the head, and they're just like, "Well, I'm going to emotionally scar my child today. Let's go." But yeah, no, it was a little what the hell just came out of her mouth?
The last one was the kid who gets injured for the final tournament because his dad slaps him and then he falls down the stairs and breaks his wrist. And I'm just geez, there is so much abuse in this anime. It's stop, please stop the fucking abuse.
But I thought that was actually a good example of a borderline. So he obviously didn't mean to break his son's wrist, right? Mm-hmm. But there's obviously some kind of abuse going on there. So it's this borderline thing, and that's the way a lot of abuse kind of is. So I thought it was actually a good example of the way some things kind of go.
Yeah, and in your notes, Bcom, I think you said it best, is that the show tried to do too much at one time.
It did.
Yeah.
If they just did maybe two of the players, and they had their own anime, and everybody else was pretty much okay, it wouldn't have been that bad with the drama. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, I think they just wanted to have all these different faucets of what could happen, and they're all very different situations, since that's what they were trying to do. Honestly, I think it wouldn't have even been so bad if they just had more time to space things out, because part of the issue was that the things were just happening too often.
And on that, I will say every time something abusive happened, I actually laughed, because I was just
oh, God.
I was like, somebody just got fucked up 12 minutes ago. Somebody else is already getting their emotionally scarred up. That's how I had to cope with it. I was like, this is so fucking ridiculous.
Well, that is the way some people cope with watching something that uncomfortable, is they just laugh at it, because it's oh my god, even nervous, uncomfortable laughter. Yeah.
In my day-to-day life, if something very uncomfortable or makes me nervous, I'll just laugh. In really bad situations, laugh too. I shouldn't be laughing at this, but I am. But, that's ways you work with things sometimes. But no, I think the show overall was good. I think that they needed a lot more time. Yeah. And you talked about, Bcom, how they were supposed to have double the amount of episodes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If they ever do a second season, I might revisit the score that I'm going to give this now, because, maybe then they'll have the time to, really wrap up these huge emotional cliffhangers with all these people in ways that are really satisfying and really make sense to me. But the way it's left hanging, the end of this anime felt like school days to me, and I was like, what the fuck?
Tune in to see if he kills his father.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. Oh my god. Yeah, that's why I was so angry when I finished this. I was like, this is bad. We shouldn't be putting this out there. You have a duty to finish this goddamn anime.
You have a duty. You're just gonna rush into the animator's house, be like, tell me what happens. But I mean, you can go buy the manga.
No, there's no manga. It's an original anime,
so we have to go to the.
Yeah, it's original, okay. So that's why it's so weird,
That is weird. Oh, that is really weird. But yeah, no.
But all right, we got to give our scores and move on. Yeah, this is going to be a fucking long episode.
Okay, wait. One more thing.
Well, the second half will be faster.
The ending of them, where they win the game, and you were like, that's unbelievable. They shouldn't have been able to win that game. I saw that in your notes, Bcom.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because, they haven't really played for that long. I know Maki's, a natural, and Toma's good, and his older brother's really good, too. But these are, the national champions. It reminded me of, when Leo was complaining about Harakana Receive. Mm-hmm. How those girls, won. At least they didn't win, but, they did push these, two national champs.
Yeah, national fucking champs. What the fuck?
Well, okay, but at least in this one, they did win the one game, but they lost the other one. So I thought it was a good balance.
It's a decent balance, yeah.
They didn't get away with, as much bullshit. That's the thing.
In Harakana Receive, they should have lost that final round against the sisters.
I felt, even though it was a little bit oh, wow, they did balance it well.
Oh, you know what I laughed, Leo, is when the twins, slapped each other across the face.
Oh, that was dramatic,
take the match more seriously. I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. Yeah, when they got serious, they crushed them. So,
yeah. But yeah, so okay, that's all I wanted to say, that we should probably have covered that too. So I gave it a 6 out of 10. You losers gave it a 2 out of 10, which it did not fucking deserve. That's stupid and dumb, and I hope you all burn in hell.
I actually had it at a 3.5, and Bcom's like, he said something, and I was like, what? I don't remember that. And I had to rewatch the final episode, and I was like, oh, it's worse than I remember.
You guys are not
so
fair.
I bumped it down to 2.
That is not fair, honestly. This is not that bad of a show.
I don't know. I just thought this anime, like, puts, like, the idea out there that, like, it's better to, like, kill your own father than, like, convince, like, a court of law. Like,
I mean,
like,
but they have. They've
themselves.
tried doing that several times. It hasn't worked.
It just feels like so, I don't know. It feels fake. I don't know. It feels like if they brought any evidence back to the court, like him getting beaten or like the money getting stolen, like they would like easily get this overturned.
Are you
I don't
familiar?
know. It's Japan, so I don't know.
Are you familiar with the child welfare system in the U.S.? Are you familiar with this bullshit?
No, it's true. Like I know there's definitely like really tragic situations.
Are
where,
you
like,
familiar with CPS? Are you familiar with? Anyway,
apparently Japan isn't. Anyway, we should move on to another show that is totally sunshine and rainbows called Beastars.
Wow, yes. You're a fucking liar.
So what did you guys think about this show by the end of it?
So, very interestingly, I was not that on board. Mm-hmm. I was really interested in like this conflict between the herbivores and carnivores. And like there was like a black market introduced at one point, and you could tell like a lot of the things were corrupt. And in the end, you find out that the parents in this show suck too, which is why there's the lack of faculty at this damn school. But it wasn't until episode 9 when Haru got kidnapped was I finally just like invested. I wanted to see what happened. I wanted to see what's going down. They're finally exploring this struggle between the herbivores and carnivores and really talking about it. And then I was like, oh, cool. I'm on board. I love the show. I'm glad they get a season 2. I definitely want to see what happens.
Yeah.
I just hope the next season is going to explore the herbivore and carnivore thing more because like, it's like there, but then they just like barely talk about it. They're like, this is just how things work. And I'm like, that's okay and all, but I want to see it go in a direction or something like that. What about you guys? What stood out for you two?
Okay,
so,
you go first.
Kat, you go first. That's fine.
Okay.
Or either way.
So I think that what stood out the most in this anime is just the characters. So like the characters to me really sold this anime. When I first started watching it, I was like, fuck, I don't really like the fact that they're all animals. This is this weird like this weird fetish thing. It felt like that to me.
It's almost a weird furry thing a little bit. Yeah,
I was like,
I was the same way. I was like,
I was like, I don't really want to go there. Don't really want to do this. Not to yuck on anyone's yum. That's your thing. That's fine. It's just not my thing. So I was like a little squicked out by it. But then I started actually watching it, and I loved the characters in the show more than anything else about it. And so I sort of like warmed up to it.
The moment Haru came on board, I was like, oh, this is Kat's favorite character by fucking far.
Oh, yeah. It sucks that she's a fucking rabbit, because I'd totally cosplay as her if she wasn't a fucking rabbit.
You'd just be looking at any other bunny girl.
Oh, I know. So I can't do it, because then everyone would just be like, oh, cute, a bunny girl. And I'd be like, no, I'm fucking Haru. And then no one would get it. So it wouldn't work.
Well, you have to have Lugosi with you, and then maybe it would work, but I don't know. Yeah.
Good luck getting someone to do that, though.
Yeah. Hey, you got a boyfriend. You can rope him into this.
I guess. I mean, but, like, he doesn't like anime, really. So, like, he just wandered around this thing like, why am I dressed like a wolf? I don't really understand. I haven't seen this anime. But,
and then that's when you tell him, shut up, it's for one day. This is my day.
Listen, we're gonna go see the wrestling thing later. Just be quiet.
Exactly. And frankly, you could wear the same wolf mask to the wrestling and it'll be just fine.
No, but yeah, so
Animal Mask, that's a different show.
Yeah,
that's next show.
That's up next. Yeah.
So I don't know. I loved Haru. I love the idea that there's a female character who does sleep around. She is a slut, but like that doesn't define who she is. Like she's pretty book smart and sweet in other ways. Like she's almost very nerdy and bookish. It felt very progressive. It felt like, oh, Japan isn't completely like stuck in the 50s and idiotic.
I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, so I did like that. I love that she was sleeping with Louis.
Yeah.
I love that. And
Louis or Louise? What are we going to go with?
They call him Louis, like as in like how you would pronounce like French, like Louis, like. But I think you call him Louis, call him Louis, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, Louis is fine, I guess. Okay. But yeah, I liked that she was sleeping with him because it was very like, and he knows that she's sleeping with other people, and he's not upset by that either. So I kind of like that dynamic. It was like, oh, a breath of fresh air, like, oh, yes,
yeah,
yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I also got a lot of weird, like, as I know Bcom had similar issues, a lot of weird layered metaphors that don't work at all with, like, the mixed race thing, with, like, the mixed species, because it felt like they're trying to make references to mixed race couples, especially when they went to the hotel. It made me feel like it was a mixed race metaphor, because in Japan, to get into those hourly hotels, a lot of them have signs that say, like, no gaijin, or like no mixed race couples on them. So, like, you know, you really would only go into one as a mixed race couple if it says on there, like, mixed race couples allowed, which is very, like, antiquated and something you would never see in the US.
Yeah, it also made me think about, like, oh wow, if things are this bad as it is now between the carnivores and herbivores, how fucking bad was it in the past? The herbivores were probably completely dominated by the carnivores.
Probably.
So, like, what was the big thing that fucking even get them to this point now? Like, how did herbivores finally gain this enough power to be, they say equals, but they're not? Yeah. It's just, like, that's in the back of my mind,
I will agree that there's a lot of history here that probably needed to be... Like, I would like a lot more history of this world.
Yeah, but that's another anime season.
Entirely,
like, like 2 or 3, like, yeah.
But back to the metaphors about real life. So, like, Leo. So, like, but yeah, so I felt like it was kind of being a metaphor there, just because that is a thing that still happens in Japan, is like you see those signs. But then obviously, like, that doesn't match up when you really get down to it, because, like, you're not gonna, like, try to eat each other. Like, there's
that's the thing. Like, I felt like Legosi's, like, desire to just, like, give into his carnivore side was also, like, very much a metaphor for, like, sexual desire, because, like, the way he views Haru as, like, someone he wants to be with, but then he doesn't quite understand it. And so then that's another metaphor that's, like, mixed in with, like, the race metaphors and, like, the carnivore herbivore metaphors and, like, all the animal instincts, and it's like, but they're also kind of like human beings. And so, like, I just came out of the anime just being like, I don't know exactly what you were trying to say.
Yes, I felt that way too, because there's definitely some moments where you're like, this is a metaphor for this, and then there's, like, times where you're like, but then it doesn't work in this situation. But I also felt that way, like, I felt sometimes that they were trying to say, like, the objectification of of like someone as a sexual item, like a sexual thing, versus, like, caring about them, and how those two can be intertwined, but, like, can also be very separate things. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of what I felt like that was a metaphor for. But then obviously other times, like, that doesn't work. But I
really like that character Juno, who is, like, the girl wolf who joins the drama club, like, halfway through the season. I loved that scene where she is, like, alone with Louis and, like, pushes him down onto the floor using her strength, and, like, basically says, like, I'm gonna become the next Beastar, and I'm gonna, like, make Legosi notice me, kind of thing. And I was like, holy shit, like, this girl's got a dark side. Like, she seemed like just a normal, like, kind of, like, you know, nice girl next door, wolf next door, whatever, I don't know, but she's actually kind of a badass, like, when it comes to it, and it's a little scary. So I'm very curious to see what happens with her going after Legosi going forward.
She is very aggressive in the things she wants, for sure, but still appearing like you said, like the wolf next door, you know.
Yeah. She's a sneaky carnivore. Like, she's not like Bill the tiger who, like, drinks herbivore blood and then goes out on stage. Just, like, performs. It's insane.
Right. So it's getting a season 2, so which is good, because I probably would have ranked it worse because a lot of stuff are going unsaid.
Yeah.
But if you're getting a season 2, then they're going to keep exploring it, and that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
But closing this one out, I want to talk about, unless you guys have something else you want to talk about, I want to talk about that very final scene
Okay.
Where Legoshi is talking to somebody. And
in the hallway.
We don't know who it is.
Yes.
All we have to go by is, like, there's a shot of, like, a tissue and a pill package in a waste bin.
Yeah.
And then also what Legoshi says. He says, there you are, let's go. Everybody has been looking for you. And he's smiling at them, so we know he's friendly with them.
We know that he knows them. Like, and it would be a cop-out if it was somebody that we haven't already met. 100%.
Yes, it would be. So assuming it's somebody we do know, we know Louis is missing.
I feel like it has to be Louis.
I feel like that would be the most surprising thing. Louis missing after that confrontation on the rooftop.
Yeah, but everybody else would be having a reaction in that scene if Louis is ever actually missing and he just suddenly shows up.
Well, but everyone's looking
like,
for him.
Oh shit, it's Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. I don't think it's Bill the Tiger, because Bill the Tiger is like way too obvious.
Because of the pill package. He's the only one we know who has this, let's just call it a drug problem.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think the best twist would be it's Juno.
I'm kind of hoping it's her. Yeah. Because I think she's set up to be really interesting, and that would be cool.
Yeah, because like we said, she seems sweet and innocent. We do know she has a little slightly aggressive side, but then we find out she's also on, like we said, we're going to call it drugs or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, that would be interesting. Kat, what do you think?
I still think it's Louis. I think maybe he got kidnapped and got into some shit, and like now this is what's going on. I don't know. Because otherwise, the only other thing I can think of is one of the carnivores, and he's having. It's either that or it's one of the carnivores that he is the one who killed the student at the very beginning of the first season.
Yeah, well, I think that's who they're hinting that this character is. So in that sense, like, I don't think it would be Louis because.
So it's one or the other. It either is Louis or it's the carnivore who killed them, and that's why they're hiding who it is. Yeah. So we know that it's someone that one of the cast members that we know. And that they're using those pills to try and keep from killing other animals.
Ioba the bald eagle, somebody we never suspected in the first place. that would be like a cop out too. It's just like, I'd be like, God damn it.
Oh, you know what's weird? Like how remember when they go out into the town and like the birds are walking around? They're like they see one like a bird or eagle guy flying. They're like, oh, I wish I had my flying permit. It's like your driver's license or something. Like the birds like can't fly until they get a permit. I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy. That's so weird.
Slightly believable, though.
Yeah, no, it's just like a weird quirk.
It's got to be regulated somehow, I would think.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just so weird how they mixed animal stuff and real-world human society stuff. I do want to know, like, the lore, like you guys said, behind this world. So, yeah, in the end, I gave this a 7 out of 10. I still thought it was really solid. I really respect Studio Orange, who made Land of the Lustrous, and, like, they continue to do really great visual work with this, especially like directing and cinematography wise. Just like I really liked a lot of like the split screen shots where you see like various people's perspectives, and it just like great use of like lighting and just tone throughout the show was really awesome. So yeah, just really well directed show overall. So
yep, I gave it a 6 out of 10, and the reason mine is a little bit lower is because it basically took till episode 9 before I was committed and just like wanted to know what was going on, because they finally started to explore some of the stuff I was interested in, but they just kept ignoring the entire time.
Yeah.
So, Kat?
Yes.
What'd you give this? What'd you give Beastars?
8 out of 10. I actually really like this season. I felt like this is one of the standouts of the season, especially like originals.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean,
I think it is. It's one of the better shows this season.
Yeah, sure. Like you got Legends of the Galactic Heroes, that was pretty good. You've got this, and then really Vinland Saga. That's, I mean, everything else was just kind of like bleh to me. Like it was, some of them were okay, but yeah. So yeah.
Speaking of bleh.
No, let's talk about one of my favorite shows of this season. Kemono Michi, Rise Up.
I'm just going to continue to say boo.
Funny.
Oh, no, it was not. God. It was some trash bullshit. No. Okay. All right, I'll let you say your fucking piece.
This show is, we've talked about, right, is also the creator of Konosuba. Mm-hmm. If you liked Konosuba, you found it funny. This is basically the same humor, so I cannot see being a fan of one and not being a fan of this. That would be very surprising to me.
It's very similar, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I laughed so much. There was at one point I felt like there was too much male on female violence, but then again, they were kind of basing it off like wrestling.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is fake. They're just doing it for the comedic value. And then finally Carmilla gets punched by goddamn Hanako in the stomach just to shut her up, and I got over it real quick and just laughed and went with it. And I'm gonna say my favorite scene. I'll let you guys say your piece on it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So my favorite episode is the one where they first put together like a big wrestling match, sort of in the middle of the series, because it had a lot of my favorite stuff. Like one scene I really liked is like where Genzo goes over to like the kobold woman's house and like recruits her husband to like wrestle.
I have this written down on paper because they do the flashback and he's like a kind of like slight gangster ruffian.
He's got like a yellow mohawk.
They give him a pompadour.
Pompadour, yeah.
And that just made me fucking start giggling so hard. I was like, that's such a good fucking detail.
It was such a good gag, yeah. And then they like decide by fighting, he remembers his fighting days and he has to go wrestle with him now. I like how Hanako never found a food that she didn't want to eat.
She ate everything. It didn't even have to be a food sometimes.
Yeah, and during that wrestling match, she's doing commentary and she's just talking about how to best eat all of the beast men and women that are competing. And it's just stuff like that. I thought was really funny. It's just really goofy, really weird, and really funny. I also like a quick bit in that episode where a girl comes up to Shigure and asks her, do you have anything with muscles? And she, pulls down this, string of photographs, her secret stash of, muscle men pictures. And she's like, oh, yeah, this is a limited run, baby. You better get on this.
Also, every time Genzo, would punch that, guild guy, and he would drop his, really famous sword, and Shigure's like, oh, look, somebody dropped a really famous sword. It's mine now. And then she'd just fucking sell it. That never got old. That was just fucking funny every single time. In even later on, she wouldn't even say anything about it. You would just see her picking it up and holding it to her like it's mine now. Barely addressing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like some of the running jokes in this anime. Every fucking time the ant guy was on screen, I was smiling. Because it's just ridiculous to see an ant.
I thought it was Ant Girl.
Oh, I don't know, actually. I assumed guy, but I don't know what that was based on.
Yeah, they never addressed it. I guess because it was in an apron, I just assumed it was a girl.
It could be a butler. He seemed like an ant butler, basically, because he's going around watering flowers and stuff. And there's one point where he draws this insanely beautiful sketch of the cat girl Misha and the wolf man or whatever, because they came by. And it's just I don't know. It's just, there's little funny throwaway jokes constantly throughout the show that I liked. I think the stuff that I didn't like necessarily was the fucking panty shots constantly with the wrestling moves.
It's a shallow anime. It has no substance. All it is panty shots and lame one-liner jokes. And them going off for these stupid quests.
And it makes it the best.
It's not the best. It's stupid and mindless and dumb. It's the same as every other goddamn isekai that's ever existed on this godforsaken planet. I don't know why you hook yourself into these, Leo, every fucking season. You're I love this trash. Let me just eat this banana peel. It's delicious and gourmet.
I knew it was going to be ridiculous, and that's what I got. I got ridiculous.
I think it's goofier than a lot of isekai, and more of the jokes land than usual, is what I would say.
Okay.
This is the banana peel of the anime season. The banana peel.
Okay, look. I know Kat laughed because I made her watch a specific scene out of context.
The very best scene out of several episodes. I'm not going to watch 2 hours to have 2 seconds of, oh, that was a little funny.
It was 2.5 minutes. Okay. So my favorite scene was in episode 11 It's where Genzo and Carmilla are outside training, but you have the shot. The shot is coming from inside the cottage where you see Shigure discussing the plans with Claws on their next tournament. This is the second part. If anybody wants to go find this, it's episode 11 at the 2-minute and 40-second mark. And the two are just sitting there discussing, but the whole time, the entire time, you just hear Carmilla screaming and yelling things in the background like, the body can't bend this way. And she's just going, and like, when I had Kat, we watched this simultaneously, Kat's going, what the fuck is going on here? Oh my God, are they raping her? I don't get it. And man. I've watched it like 6 or 8 times now, and I laugh every time. I am crying by the end of it every single time. And it's another one of those scenes where like I want to see footage of the voice actress in the booth doing all these screams, because it sounds like you had to have so much fun doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, and I also told Kat, if you have a picture of the voice actress up, her name is Arisa Sakuraba. It's just like, it's funnier because it's just like, you just cannot imagine this voice coming from her. And that scene it still destroys me. I will visit this scene 10 years from now and still fucking laugh.
Oh, I see her. I see a picture of her. She doesn't seem like Carmilla.
Yeah. And then you just imagine hearing that voice and you're just like, oh, you just want footage of her in the voicing booth doing this, because you know it's got to be just like gold. So good.
Whatever.
Do you know that the same girl who voiced like the princess, who was Princess Buttocks or whatever, also voiced also voiced the little dog Hiroyuki, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just found that out from the Mal page.
Holy shit.
That's kind of funny.
So she was doing that.
Exactly.
Oh, you're right. That's fucking awesome, dude.
God, the way she ends up, where like she kind of embraces being Princess Buttocks in like the last wrestling match. She's like, I could feel the whole
and it gets
crowd
her all
looking at
bothered.
me with disdain.
Yes.
I was just like, oh God.
She is personifying darkness so fucking hard at that point.
Yeah, she's basically darkness at that point. Yeah,
it's so good. All right, let's do our scores and then probably just take a quick break.
Yeah, I thought it was average, 5 out of 10. It made me laugh, but I thought it was really stupid a lot of the time too. And some of the jokes put me off, and others didn't. I think I got away with being gross because of how absurd it was. Basically, is what I would say. So 5 out of 10.
And
we can skip Kat's scores.
2 out of 10, bitches. 2 out of 10. You're gonna take my fucking pick and stars align? Well, fuck you. 2 out of 10. Stereotypical as shit.
Jesus, good. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I found it fucking hilarious. It always put me in a good mood every time I watched an episode. Fucking loved it.
Whatever. Nice. You're lame. You're a lame-o casual.
Jesus.
It's almost like we could all like different things and all still be okay about it.
No, I respect your ability to eat banana peel trash. It's okay, Leo. You can do that.
All right. Let's take a break and we'll come back very shortly.
All right.
Hi, I'm JD, your host of the Red Leaf Retrocast, your best location to learn, remember, and relive the past to the present. Our podcast has 4 shows for you to listen to between retro gaming, modern gaming, anime, and even wrestling. The Retro Gaming Cast covers discussion topics, and each episode we discuss retro games picked based on a decided theme for that episode, ranging from space all the way to console specials like the old handheld Game Boy. Our Modern Gaming Cast is monthly and covers video game titles that were released in that previous month. Each anime cast, we focus to review a retro anime each and every episode, like the original Mobile Suit Gundam to the racing hit Initial D. But that's not all. We also keep up with the seasonal shows, by occasionally doing impressions and reviews as well. Finally, our last show is about wrestling, where we keep the rising indie scene up to date while also covering shows from the bigger promotions like Ring of Honor, New Japan, and WWE, so we cover it all. We also cover a retired wrestler every episode in what we call the Wrestler Spotlight, and are currently on a quest covering old WCW Thunder episodes from the late 90s, every cast. So if any one of those casts sound like something you'd like to check out, that's the Red Leaf Retrocast, Gaming, Anime, and Wrestling, found at iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, and all your favorite podcasting sites. Also, you can learn, remember, and relive the past to the present. We can't wait to see you soon.
Hey dude, you into anime, manga, and all that radical stuff?
Oh yeah, man, it's tubular.
Then you should totally check out the...
This transmission has been hacked. If you want discussions, debate, reviews, and all in between, you must listen to the Anime Radicals Network at www.animeradicals.com. There's timely reviews, revolutions, mecha, and much more. Find it on iTunes, Google Podcasts, and all podcast catchers. The Anime Radicals Network.
The revolution will be simulcast.
And we're back with maybe our favorite show. I'm joking. This is not our favorite show of the season.
Oh, God. It could have been so fucking good. And then it had to be a toilet. It had to be
That was my biggest complaint was, like, I thought it had potential, and then it got super fucking generic. How about you go, Kat?
It really did.
Tell us what you think.
It started out like it could be like a new twist on a genre that I enjoy very much. I do enjoy harems as long as they're done well. The problem is that the harem genre is completely inundated with some bullshit trash that they are like, oh, you'll eat this, right? Like, you'll eat anything. So we can just serve this up to you and you'll watch it, right? Because you like harems. No! Damn it. If you're going to make a harem, make a good harem. Don't give us this bullshit. Especially don't give us this bullshit and make us think it's going to be different and unique. And then, like, after 4 or 5 episodes, be like, oh, you thought it was going to be different and unique? Well, you know, you're hooked now.
It's
so, like now it's
every
not.
other harem you've seen.
It's the same. We just hooked you with that. Now you're stuck watching it. That is such, oh, it pisses me off. So that's what this show did, basically.
Yeah.
It started out saying, basically, you know, this character, you think he's like every other main protagonist, but he's actually very, like, nasty on the inside and has his own ideas and is, like, scheming. And then you kind of get this, like, it kind of turns into everyone is scheming, which I also liked.
Yeah.
I liked that part of it. But then every arc just turned into another character lying to Joro. It just became like, oh, this person was nice to Joro. Guess what that means? It means they're lying to him. And then at the end, it would be like, shocker, they were lying to him. Dun, dun, dun. And you're like, yes, we've had 3 different arcs of this already. I know. And then everyone would be like, and then they'd have the redemption arc of that character, and then they'd move on to the next time that someone lied to Joro. And after a while, it's just kind of like,
Did it bother you guys that, like, mostly the second half, there was times like the characters would get super serious, and other times it would be comedic.
Yes.
And you just didn't know if you needed to take it serious or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a problem. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't the only one. That's good.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, and I think that they, after like episode 6 or 7, started to be like, oh, our main message of our show is falling apart. We need a new main message. And at that point, they started to sort of sell this idea of, like, you should go after the person you love.
It was almost a different anime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It became like they were trying to sell this message of the show of you should go after the person you love, not the person you love's happiness. Like, if you care about them but they love someone else, then, well, fuck that. You're still going to try your best to get them.
That's the big thing in the end. Yeah, that's how it kind of ends on it. So, like, speaking of the, was it an A and B or an OVA that's coming out?
There's an OVA coming that is apparently going to finish everything off. Yeah.
And I initially got into our chat because I'd finished it, and I went, whoa, what's with this ending? They can literally end this in one episode. And then I'm finally told they're making an OVA this summer. And I'm like, fuck them. That's so dumb.
It must have been like a broadcasting thing, because I guess they got put into a slot where they had 12 weeks. But I don't know, like, it just seems so weird to not just do one episode and finish the whole thing off. Instead to, like, make people wait until... Is it a fucking strategy to get people to buy the Blu-ray? Is that what it is?
It's probably some type of marketing strategy. But the way it ends, you know what's going to happen in the OVA. Like, it's fucking obvious as shit. Like, I would love if I was wrong, but if I was wrong, I'd be like, that's a fucking weird ending. But anyways, basically what's going to happen... Pansy will obviously choose Joro because she's 100% in love with him. And Cherry and whatever her name is,
Bruna, I think her name
quiet
is.
childhood friend, they'll come around and realize they would like to have Jose as their own and give their pins to Joro, which is going back on what Kat was just talking about
it's
them going...
Hose, not Jose. He's not Hispanic.
Hose. Did I say ho?
Oh, he's got Hose already.
No.
He's got tube steak.
Hose, and that just makes the same reasoning of the other girls why they give their pins to Hose. So what it's going to boil down to is Sun-chan having to win the baseball game with a last hit home run, and thus turning in the show into a sports anime. God, I'm not looking. I'm going to watch the OVA because I've already watched fucking 12 episodes, so I'm going to watch the ending, but it's just going to be the exact same shit.
I was just like, no, fuck this. I'm not watching that. Fuck you and fuck your show. I don't
Kat's
give a shit.
Fuck all this. I'm boycotting it.
No, if you start out and you hook me in on something and then you trick me, like, I'm done. Yeah. I'm fucking done with you. All right.
I'm actually, like, legitimately sad about this anime because, like, I felt like it did have so much potential in those first couple episodes that we were really impressed with. Like, to just be a refreshing breath of fresh air in this terrible genre of fucking harems where everything always goes the same way. And so to see this go the same way, I was so sad because, like, the original girls had, like, plenty of potential to play off each other in different ways. Like, if they just, like, stuck with, like, Cosmos and, like, Himawari and Pansy and just kept fleshing them out, I would have been way more interested in how this, like, show ended up. And, like, if they started playing each other against each other to try to get one another to do something or make a decision, like, that would have been fun. But, like, they just fell into the trap of, like, just introducing more and more girls because they had nothing else to say with Himawari and Cosmos. So they introduced, like, the classmate with the red hair who's, like, a tsundere who, like, dyes her hair black because Joro says, like, one nice thing to her about her hair.
That character was just, like, so random. I don't even know why they were there. What did they
She's not even the most... Well, I liked her because she kind of pushed him at certain points to do things, but... And I kind of liked how her, like, group of 4 friends would always be there, like, cheering for her. Like, that was kind of funny. But, like, the one that really was just like, why are you here? Was the girl who ran, like, the skewer stand at the baseball game.
That felt then, like the last minute.
There was, like, no point to her character at all. Like, it just didn't make any sense. And then the Tom Popo girl, who was, like, the little idol girl, was just super annoying. Like, she was, like, she kind of to me was like if you if you were gonna do Himawari but in a really annoying way where Himawari wasn't fun, then it would be Town Popo. So it's just like, I don't like this girl at all.
So when Joro's mother first spoke, did you guys immediately just want to smash your screen?
Oh my god, I was like, what the fuck is this? What's happening? I was so confused why they made that choice. First of all, she doesn't even look like his fucking mother. Mm-hmm. She doesn't look like a character that should be his mother.
She sounds like a fucking child lolly.
And they call her, like, Forever 17 mom or something like that.
Well, and also she looks like 17. She looks like she should be his classmate. It's weird. Like, are they trying to do, like, a MILF thing here? I'm confused.
It reminded me of that one fucking other romantic, Masamune-kun's Revenge, where the mom literally was like a lolly mom.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
But then the voice made sense because she looked like a little girl. Like, whereas in this one, she looks like a normal kind of woman, maybe like maybe 20s or something, and then has like the voice of a 10-year-old.
Yeah,
and I was like, what is happening? I love that you pointed that out, Leo, because like when I went through watching those episodes and I heard her voice, I was just like laughing my ass off.
As soon as it happened, random. I immediately made a note so that I would not forget this and I would mention it. Like it hurt just to hear her voice.
I kind of had a fun with this show when it had fun with itself, like in the one really fan servicey pool episode where even they are like, we're doing the pool episode that's completely
breaking
original.
the fourth wall there. Yeah.
But like I just liked how like he had
Sun-chan constantly saving him.
Yeah, they like go off into the sunset at the end of the episode. There's nothing like a high school boy. I was like, yeah, this is good. I like this. This is goofy and dumb, and I can enjoy this.
And it's different. Yeah. It's different. Yeah. That was the thing. But
and like, I still think I like Pansy, but I also just feel like she. By the end of the season, they kind of undercut her character by making her like just like deathly afraid of this other boy who had like a crush on her, and like her whole middle school drama coming back. And it's just like, this is all forced to have like a dramatic conclusion. Whereas like I felt Pansy was like a stronger character than that. Like I liked that she was strong and confident and like always like figuring out Joro's bullshit and like getting him to open up and be truly who he is. And that's really what the end of this anime is probably going to be about. It's like all of these girls and Joro and everyone being true to themselves and just letting it all play out. But I don't know. It just didn't really come together.
On a completely random thought, wouldn't it like be not just uncomfortable, but like literally hurt to strap down her boobs like she does?
It does a little bit, but after a while, it kind of just becomes numb and it doesn't hurt anymore.
Oh, okay. Interesting. It's like sports bras, like tight sports bras and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. You guys want to do scores? Anything else you want to say?
No, I think
it said it all.
This show disappointed me greatly.
All right. I gave it a 5.5. It gets that 0.5 because...
I love how you guys give this a 5.
Dude,
this somehow is better than this. No, Stars Align was better than this bullshit.
Number one, I did enjoy watching most of it. I can't say I enjoyed anything about Stars Align.
I don't understand how you can enjoy watching this more than Stars Align. I don't
because at least the beginning was interesting, and Stars Align, I immediately started fucking hating it because they were like, I'm playing soft tennis. Well, they go fucking join another club.
Oh my god! The beginning of Stars Align was interesting. You fucking... We could fight back and forth all day.
Stars Align was the disaster the moment it started. Even you two admitted that this one had a decent start, but then went to shit.
The first arc, it was a disaster.
I gave it 5.5. What'd you give it, Bcom?
I gave it a 3.
Jesus.
Yeah, it really disappointed the shit out of me that it pretended like it was going to be something good, and then it was just like the same thing ever as we've always seen in any harem show.
Yeah.
And so that kind of just like pissed me off. But it didn't piss me off as much as Stars Align.
If it was just honest about what it was from the beginning. If it was like, this is a trash harem. Come eat your trash harem shit. I wouldn't have been as upset with it. I would have been like, well, it's a trash harem, okay. But like, don't fucking bait me and then lie to me, all right?
So the lesson learned is never deceive Kat because you will forever be on her bad side.
Yes. So 3 out of fucking 10. Fuck this show. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's move on to Dr. Stone. Bcom, take it away.
So I actually quite enjoyed the second half of Dr. Stone. The thing that just always stuck out to me about this show is that it just had so much freaking heart to it that, like, even if it was being dumb, I still found myself enjoying it a lot. I really liked just the way that they portrayed how science like is like a huge like community effort. Like, right, you have like the big brain scientist in Senku who's like the idea man, but then you need like a whole community of people to be able to like build these huge contraptions. Like, you need a skilled craftsman to be able to like blow the glass into a shape that you need to like build a machine, or like to craft like the wood like encasing for something that you're going to use. and you need people to go out and like gather like minerals and materials and stuff. And you need to. I also really like the way that they showed that Senku's advances in technology are, they're going towards his main projects, like whether it's like building cell phones or finding like the drug to cure Ruri. But at the same time, like the side advances, like the steps along the way to get to those final points, help society. Like they improve the quality of living in society because science branches out as it goes forward, and it helps everyone. At the same time, there are ways in which I think science can run amok and like hurt people, and I bet you they're going to get into that in like the next season. But I really like that they were like so positive about it here. And I thought that it was really heartwarming in the episode, like I think it was 21, when Senku, Chrome, and Magma go off to the cave to like mine tungsten for like the vacuum tubes for the phone. And you get back and you think that like Gen has somehow conspired against them while they're gone, to turn like Senku over to Tsukasa or whatever. But in reality, they like just built him like a telescope for his birthday. And so he could like see space because they know that he loves space and he wants to go there. That's his ultimate goal. And I thought it was like really clever how like Gen figured out Senku's birthday by like remembering his resurrection day that he carved into the tree, and then like asking him like casually like how many days he's been alive, and it's like be able to put it together from that. Like thought that was like really cute. And there's just like a lot of like really cute moments in this anime that just made me like fall under its spell, I guess is like how you would say it. And I was really nice to see that just like season 2 gets confirmed at the end. Like, hey, if Stars Align had a like, hey, season 2, come in, see what happens with this knife. Like I would be like, yeah, okay, that's
you wouldn't
better.
have been as harsh, that makes sense.
It's nice when you can see that right at the end of the anime. Like, know that there's like a greater plan here. That like we're not just stopping. We're going on to like Stone Wars after this.
Okay, so like at the beginning, I was very excited about this anime, but I feel like the plot is kind of shallow. It's very based on like progressing to the next scientific phase or like doing the next thing. It reminds me a lot of when you play Civilization, and I don't know how I got really into, like, I don't play very many games, but I got fucking into Civilization 5.
Wow, I think that's one game all three of us have played.
I played the shit out of that game. In fact,
Bcom was just playing it the other day. I saw it on Xbox.
I had someone give me Civilization 6. I specifically didn't buy it. I was like, no, because Civilization 5 for a while was like crack to me. I played it so often and so much, it like threatened my existence as a human being.
Hell yeah, it was just one more turn.
Yeah, I know, and I was like, I can't do this again. I'm not buying Civ 6. I know better. I know better now. And then my friend was like, oh, really? And then like sent it to me on Steam, and I was like, you bastard, as I'm like downloading it. But I still haven't touched it because I know better still. I know better. But regardless, it feels like the science chart on that game when you're like researching things.
Mm-hmm. It's almost
anime,
like the tech tree.
Yeah, the tech tree. It feels very much like that. Like, oh, now they've done this one. They're done researching it. Now on to the next one. So it's satisfying in that way that a video game is satisfying when you complete that stage, but it's not. The plot is not deep. You know what I'm saying?
No, so what I was saying here in the notes is like a large part of the anime is them acquiring the materials to do said next science step, and then they have to go through the process of refining these materials, and these at times could take up a large chunk of the episode, and I found those very boring.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
And then I'm like, can we get back to the story? I mean, like, can we just skip to where they make it or shorten this part of the process somehow, please? But no, they did not.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I just felt like it became less exciting in terms of a plot, but it was just more like watching someone else play Civilization.
Yeah, like
that's
you literally
what I
spent
felt like
3/4 of the episode They finally find the materials. They spend an insane amount of time processing them. And then they make the thing, and then the thing is made, and then 2 minutes are left in the episode, and they use the thing. And you're just like, all right.
Yeah, I can see how you could get bored with that, like, cycle. Like, yeah, it's true. I guess it's just, like, some of the standout moments carried it for me. Like, I really loved that last episode of the season because, like, it starts off, it's, like, all about, like, voices reaching over distance and time, basically. So it starts off with, like, the first call they make with the phone, and, like, Chrome calls Rory, and they're like, this is finally your chance to tell her, like, you really like her. And he's just so excited about the phone that he's just like, Rory, this phone kicks ass. Like, and they're all like, oh my God, you idiot. But then, like, they discover through discussing all that Senku's dad, like, left behind, like, that record of his voice. And so, like, it's a great way of showing how, like, science helps us, like, not only advance science, but, like, preserve our culture, preserve, like, emotions through time, and, like, passing those messages on. It's just, like, it's like a really powerful demonstration of all that. I thought it was really cool, just, like, everyone's reactions to hearing the singer, like, fucking sing music, because, like, this is, like, a real thing that happened. Like, my dad's a music history teacher, and, like, one part of music history that's really interesting is a lot of colonists who came to the United States from Europe. They had some music training when they came over, but then, say, the next generation that's born, they have no fucking clue how to play music.
I'm sorry, I just laughed about something else.
Oh, it's okay.
No, it's funny.
Yeah.
So, if you've ever met Bcom in person, you will notice he's a very tall person. And then you meet his dad, your first thought is, how fucking tall is his mother?
And my mom's not even that tall. Like, it's my mom's, like, my grandpa on my mom's side, and her brother are both 6-footers.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's where the genes came from. It's definitely my mom's side, because my dad's parents were, like, 4'10" and 5'2". My dad's like 5'10" or 5'9" maybe now, but, like, yeah, it's funny.
That's why I laughed, because you brought up your dad, and I was like, I've met him, and that's just funny to me.
But yeah, I was saying that, like, music can get lost. Like, so, like, these, tribes people basically in Dr. Stone world, they don't know what real music sounds like. They don't have that culture. It has been passed down to them. And so when they hear, like, one of the greatest voices of that age sing, they're all, like, brought to tears. It would be like never hearing a song before and then hearing, like, the greatest song you've ever heard in your life.
Yep.
And so, like, I don't know, those moments were really powerful to me. And I think that stuff, like, really carries Dr. Stone through some of, like, the more mundane, science-y episodes, Yeah. So, yeah.
I think you said something about some of the most standout moments. There was one which was 100% unintentional on their part that had me fucking dying laughing. So it's very funny. They specifically, and I mean specifically, established that Senku can make classes, and he gives a pair to Kinru. Then they immediately just give Suika another melon helmet. And I know how much Kat hates this. Yes. And I started laughing so hard at the deposit. I swear I could hear Kat screaming at her scream.
I was so pissed. I was just like, really? Really?
It killed me. And I was like, this is so unintentional. And it would look crazy from anybody else's perspective. I'm laughing just at imagining Kat just screaming at her.
I'm just like, you dumb bitch, you can't spend the rest of your fucking life in a helmet. Exactly. Get the fucking thing off your skull. Act like a person.
This is exactly what I was hearing in my head. It slayed me.
What kind of adults are like, oh, a child is hiding their face. Let's encourage this behavior. This unsocial behavior.
Yeah, just the unintentionality of it was just like it destroyed me.
I know.
Oh gosh.
I want to know more about like the two people who showed up, like the girl with pink hair, Hamura, and Hyoga, the guy who uses the spear, who like come to the village briefly and like kind of start to fight them, but not really. Yeah. They're just kind of like an advanced party, and they find out that Senku's still alive. I want to know more about their backstory before they woke up.
I do
because
too.
Like,
yes,
I want to know like why Homaro's like, was she like a gymnast or something? She's like doing flips all over the place,
or an acrobatist or something. She's crazy.
And Hyoga is like, how did you get so good with a spear? Like, what were you doing? I don't know.
Like, what were you doing? What do you mean?
Like, was he like, why would somebody in our world be so good at using spears? Like, what was he? What? People don't use spears anymore. Why is he so talented?
My only response would be there's some weird sport we're not really aware of that involves the spear usage. But one of the other things that did bother me was like Taiju and Yuzuyahara are just like gone 3/4 of the episode. And they're listed as main characters. They're just gone. There's like barely a mention of them, or not even like, I mean, could you not included what they were doing with their spying in the process? It's just nothing, and I'm just like, so when the second season comes out, I'm like, are they going to be relevant? Am I going, like, when they come back, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, I barely remember who you people are. Why are you important again? Like, I feel like that might be a problem.
Yeah, that's true. Like, they just barely show up at the end of that last episode, and it's like, okay, we know they're gonna maybe play a role in this like cell phone spy thing. But yeah, they were just really gone for the whole time, which it was a long time for them to be gone. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure they'll be brought back into things and it'll be fine, but it feels like a long time coming now.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I don't know.
So yeah, I gave this a 7 out of 10 in the end. I thought this was like,
okay,
yeah, above average show. I definitely will watch season 2.
See, to me, it's not an above average show, but it's an okay show. So I give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's fine. Like, I can understand from the ways you guys talked about those episodes that you didn't like. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's not like I hate it. It's just not. It's not as good as I would like it to be.
Yeah, my score was a 6.5. If you're wondering where the 0.5 came from, it's because I know it brought anger to Kat.
Fuck
you get a 0.5 for that.
Nice.
Oh, and
all right.
The next show.
So then we got Chihayafuru 3.
All right, just
let me lead this off. I don't want you.
Can Kat and I just say our thing real quick?
Because in the beginning of the season, you got to go first, and now I get to go first.
All right, you're going to talk the whole time. I think that's
only fair.
Kat and I will go bleh, and then move on.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. What do you want to say bit about? What do you want to say, Leo? What do you want to say?
No, he doesn't get to talk first.
I get to talk first. Come on.
I get to say why this show is good, and then you guys can go meh. Okay, so I really liked the second half of this, like, first half of the season, like 6 through 12 or whatever.
Listen to his cute little voice as he gets all excited, Leo. Isn't it adorable?
I get excited about good anime. It's so weird. Episode 6 was a fantastic culmination of a big match we've been waiting for with Chihaya and Taichi facing each other. And it was really good because, like, it showcased all these things that they had learned from other people in recent arcs and in past arcs, and how they're bringing all of that new knowledge to, like, bear on each other in this really intense match against one another, which Chihaya wins and Taichi is a sad boy. But, like, even just watching that intense match, Arata is like so upset that he lost and he wasn't the one to face Chihaya, and he realizes that he's jealous, and he realizes that he needs to start picking it up, because if he doesn't, he basically realizes that he's in love with Chihaya, and he talks to Taichi like afterwards and says, you know, I'd always thought of Chihaya as yours because, like, she stayed in the city with Taichi the whole time. So he always just thought, like, oh, maybe she, like, belonged to him. But now I don't think she belongs to anybody, is what he says. Those are fucking fighting words. He's ready to make a go at this because he really cares. And yeah, there were all sorts of, like, little great touches throughout the season. Like, I really liked when Kana's mother, who, like, has the kimono shop, was like helping Taichi before one of the matches, and, like, puts his kimono belt on, and she talks about those, like, 2 lines that are on the edge of the belt and how they represent, like, the 2 claps like before you pray at a shrine. And I was like, damn, that's like a really fucking cool detail that I never knew about like Japanese clothing or anything, and totally makes sense with their culture. And speaking of Kana, her daughter, I like how she like saw that Chihaya and Taichi are pushing themselves really hard to the limit, and how she was able to do the same thing when she was up against Desk Tomu, because they're like pushing that romantic angle between the two of them as well, which is really nice to see. But yeah, I liked how that all gave Arata a kick in the ass, and then like it moves forward. Chihaya goes on her class trip and all because she wants to experience school, because she wants to become a teacher and an advisor in the future, and she doesn't know how she can do that if she never experiences school for herself, because she's been so dedicated to karate. But at the same time, Taichi, who is like devastated from losing to her, is like, nah, I'm gonna stay behind. I'm gonna go behind Chihaya's back, and I'm gonna enter this qualifier tournament for the Masters. And there's all sorts of fun stuff with like the queen and the Meijin, like Master Suo, coming to the tournament and just acting like their goofy selves that they are. We got to learn a little bit more about Suo, like how he's just like really quiet, but he's also kind of like a nice guy. He's just really socially awkward. He brings like dorayaki to all the other players and just like silently hands them to them. It was really weird and goofy. But then he also says like, after I win this Masters tournament for the 5th time in a row, I'm going to retire. So that puts a timer on things. That means like whoever challenges him, that's the only chance anyone's ever going to have to beat Suo. So it has to be now. So that's interesting. And yeah, one thing I was personally annoyed at is in episode 9, they go to like a museum in Kyoto that's dedicated to 100 poets. And I'm so pissed that I didn't know that this existed when I was in Kyoto. Because I totally would have gone there. It's called like the Saga Arashiyama Museum of Arts and Culture. And it just looked like such a cool place. And like, because of this show, I have like an attachment to these poems. And they have all these just like really cool exhibits. You can go look at their website. And I was like, damn, I really wish I had known that was there. I would have made a trip there when I was in Kyoto. But yeah, the mid part of the season kind of surprised me in some ways, because like Taichi loses in the qualifier tournament, and I thought that was like all set up for him to go against Arata. So that was kind of surprising. And instead Arata battles Murao, who's like from his own society. And to be honest, I thought that episode was kind of boring. Because Murao doesn't have much personality, and Arata, when he's not around Chihaya and Taichi, also doesn't have a ton of personality. He's just a very low-key guy. So that episode was kind of like a letdown for me. But at least it did set up like the good, like big qualifier matches with like Arata versus their teacher, Harada, and Megumu versus Inokuma, the mother, who's like constantly struggling with like, is she over the hill? Like, should I care more about my kids? Should I like do all this? And yeah, I don't know. I really liked seeing Harada like at the end of his rope, like at like what he's like 58 years old, trying to win this chance to fight the master. I'm like kind of rooting for him over Arata, even though I think it'll end up being Arata who wins. But yeah, it was good that that backstory with him and like his friend and the reader who's gonna read for the third match, who like he like scorned them back in the day, but then like now he's like really looking forward to her reading, and that makes her happy, and his friend's super pissed off because he still has like a crush on that woman. It was very adorable and cute. And yeah, so I just think they're continuing to do a great job, like picking up where they left off season 2 all those years ago. And I'm excited to see how the second half of the season develops, basically. So yeah. What'd you guys think? So, Kat, I'm interested because you watched the whole first season.
Yes. So I went into it kind of like, okay, this is fine, whatever, they're kids. I like the way that they develop when they're older and seeing the differences in the characters, but like the ways that they're still very similar to when they were kids as well. And kind of their rivalries, and seeing them like, oh, now that they're older, they're both kind of interested in her in a weird way, you know? I liked seeing them build a club. I will say it's very stereotypical, like, we need another player. Let's find the players. Da, da, da.
Yeah, for sure.
But the players that they do find are all interesting in their own ways and unique. I enjoy the buildup of the club, and it's a good anime overall. It's not like, I think you hyped it up a lot because it's your favorite show. And it's not ever going to be my favorite show, so I can't hype it up as much as you.
That's fair, yeah.
But I did enjoy it, and I do like the show. I can see why you enjoy it.
So. That's good. I'm glad that you enjoyed it at least. Like, yeah, it's better than just being like confused. Like, I can understand being confused as to why I hype it up as much as I do. I think it's hard for a lot of people to explain why they like Chihayafuru as much as they do. There's like a really just hardcore fan base around the show. It's even weirder for people in the West to love the show as much as we do, because it's such a Japanese-centric anime. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a super popular manga over there, and it's obviously like really well done. It's well written, but like to make it translate to the West is really tough because it's just not our culture that they're talking about. But like, I just get really invested in the characters. And seeing them progress and like the heartfeltness of it, like just makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside watching it. Really love it.
That's my big thing. I cannot get invested in these characters. I find them so boring. I feel like I should feel the tension in the matches, and I feel none of it.
Okay.
I mean,
I know a lot of people
characters. Like it. I mean, don't let my review stop anybody from checking out and see if you like it or not. But Jesus Christ, this is like the ultimate bedtime story for me. It just makes me want to
I think there's bigger bedtime stories for you.
No, there's things that make me want to hate them, but like nothing in the show makes me hate it, but nothing in the show makes me like it at all. It's so just in the middle, and I gave it a 5 out of 10. Well, you guys.
And I don't think like your reaction is like a rare one. There's a lot of people who are just like confused by the hype for Chihayafuru. Like I see that like on Mal. I see that in like some of my Discord servers that I'm a part of that are just like, I think the show's pretty good, but I don't understand why people are just like head over heels in love with it. But I mean, you could say that about a lot of fandoms that, you know, if it's just not necessarily for you, that it's not for you.
Well, there's like things where like I can't believe it's comparison, but there's things like people are like, this is my fetish. I'm like, all right, that's your thing. I get it. But I can't make that same argument for this show. I'm like, I don't understand what your fetish would be about this show. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, like,
I
for
like
a lot
rubbing
of people,
toothpaste on my nipples. All right, that's your thing. But I don't understand why you like Chihayafuru.
That's a soundbite. Man, we should cut that out for a fucking commercial. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's just a lot of people are in it for the romance. Other people are in it to like learn about this weird, quirky part of Japanese culture, and other people are in it for like intense sports tournaments. So there's a bunch of reasons people glom onto it, but yeah. I gave it a 9 out of 10. By the end of the season, I could easily see myself giving it another 10, like the first two seasons.
It's still got 12 more episodes, doesn't it? Jesus Christ.
It does. Yeah.
I wonder what Bcom's next lock is. I don't know. Kat, your score. What's your score? You may voted in. I'm not sure.
7 out of 10. I don't hate it. It's a alright show. It's a good show.
Cool.
Yeah. I know it'll be your lock, and that's fine. Like, I'm slowly catching up.
Maybe. I will say I haven't seen very many episodes yet. It's like January 7th as we're recording this, but there are already some pretty good anime out for winter.
Really?
So we'll see. Yeah, there's some stuff I really like.
There's IQ, but I know we haven't covered it before. So I know it's kind of unfair to cover it, but I like IQ.
I love Haikyuu.
So I just checked up on the shows today, and like, out of my list is actually kind of short. There was like only like 5 of the shows had an episode out today.
Yeah, there's very few shows that are actually out yet. But yeah, we'll talk about that in impressions, obviously.
Ooh.
All right. Can we talk about one show that we all agree we like very well?
Sure.
All right,
Vinland Saga.
End it off on this one, yes.
Fucking Askeladd. Holy shit.
That's my first line in my notes. Askeladd is the star of this show. Just like hands down.
He's like the surprise star.
He came out of nowhere.
He sneaks in from behind, is like, oh, you thought that Thorfinn was the star? Surprise, bitches!
No, Thorfinn is a fucking... Thorfinn is a side character compared to Askeladd's story.
Yeah.
And
that's
also
the thing,
Askeladd is like one of the best fucking bad guys who is...
Is he a bad guy, though?
Which you find out later on, maybe not a bad guy, but he's still a bad guy. I mean, what he did to Thorfinn...
He's an antagonist at the very least.
He killed a guy that in that situation he was in made sense to kill.
What makes me think he's a bad guy.
I mean, but like he's not.
Fuck.
I mean, he's just doing what all Vikings do, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
He's not different than any other Viking.
Yeah, no, it's true. Well, except that he actually hates Vikings, and that's that great reveal, like over the course of the season, that like, oh no, he has this other background, and he's more loyal to like the Welsh people than he is the Danes, and yeah, it's fantastic. Like, and just seeing him go through all of that process, and like finally like letting down like the curtain like he's put up around him, being like, I fucking hate all of you. Like when he's surrounded by like all of the Vikings who are gonna kill him, he's just like, you guys ought to know this, since we're about to die anyway. I hate all of you.
I hate you so fucking much.
Yeah, the other thing, so like with Thorfinn being not the main character, like one of the things that was interesting is like the last episode, the title is The End of the Prologue. So, like, yeah, basically all of this is sort of a backstory to set up Thorfinn moving forward, which makes a lot of sense with the last episode. Like, obviously, Thorfinn has been struggling with...
He's
like,
such a letdown of a fucking character in the end.
Well, I think it's because, like, he's such a little shitter because he needs to fucking see the stuff he needs to see to learn how to move forward and let go of this rage over his father's death, and like having to fight Askeladd, and seeing over and over how stupid it is to fight Askeladd, and how he's not ready, and how even fighting him will not bring his father back. Like that, the scene in the last episode where he drops the knife is so good, because like the knife like reflects like all of his memories along this journey as it's falling, and it's him obviously letting go of the knife, because like letting go of the idea that he has to kill Askeladd and he has to carry on.
But the feeling I got out of it was like, I felt sorry for Thor as a father, that your son turned out to be this weak piece of shit that never understood how to control his emotions.
Well, but he's 14.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the thing. At least he's a kid. He's
like,
been traumatized.
I don't know what you expect of him. Like, he's not that old
He's
yet.
14. He can literally fight Thorkel, who is an adult, a massive adult, and he has achieved this physical achievement, and you can't achieve this emotionally.
It's not as easy to achieve things emotionally as it is sometimes to achieve things physically.
He doesn't have too many great role models, especially when like his best role model is the man he wants to kill.
I think you're expecting a little too much from a kid who's 14. Like, I understand why he's having issues right now.
I expected him to eventually learn something. At the end, I felt like he learned nothing.
I think he will eventually. I think he's just not there yet.
Eventually, yeah.
I mean, was Canute not a little bitch baby for a long time before he wasn't a bitch baby?
God, I mean, so Canute's turn was really fast, by the way.
That's also why, because I think Canute's is, though you say fast, believable, but Thorfinn gets nothing. He has so much more time, so much more experience.
Well, but
and
also
he's already leagues behind Canute. And
no, but that's not a realistic way that someone would change that quickly. So like that process could happen, but not that instantaneously. So, like, really, I think the idea of Thorfinn not being there yet is pretty realistic. It's Canute that's not realistic.
Yeah, the Canute thing was like sort of like a weird revelation, which I liked because he basically comes to the revelation that like this Christian philosophy, this Viking religious philosophy, Norse philosophy.
Well, I also feel
bullshit.
Like this Canute's change of heart or whatever you want to call it had to happen. So like I felt like this was extremely necessary to happen. So like the fact that it did happen, I was just like, thank you.
Yeah, I just like that he embraces this like sort of more humanist philosophy of like, I'm going to save the people that I can, and to do that I need to rule them. So to rule them, I need to like listen to what like Askeladd's been saying to me. I need to become a man, and I need to like, you know, take over, and then I can stop this madness, this endless war, hopefully, that's just like ruining society. And I think that's like a valuable goal. I think that's really interesting. I still just do think it kind of happened really quickly with like Ragnar's death, and like immediately after that, sort of like talking with Willibald.
Oh,
and then
yeah, in that time period, it was only just like a minute of hours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, basically.
From his death. Yeah.
So it's super fast, but it is necessary, like you said, I think. And it does make the show vastly more interesting, so I kind of forgive it. But yeah, like this is sort of the story of like a bunch of characters who just don't know exactly how to live their lives, trying to figure it out. Like even Thorkel is kind of confused because he has that flashback about when Thors comes back to the Jomsvikings and then like leaves. And Thorkel's like, man, I should have gone with him. Because like he respected Thors more than anybody else. And he wishes he'd gone with him and like learned like what Thors had figured out about life. Because to this day, Torkel's just trying to like fight like the strongest person he can fight until he eventually figures out like something from it. When the ultimate lesson that Thors is trying to teach is that like a true warrior doesn't need any sword. Because like that's the way life really should be lived. And yeah, and like Askeladd trying to figure out what he wants, and Thorfinn. So the deal with Thorfinn is that like obviously he's going to be at the heart of Vinland Saga going forward. He's going to have learned from what he experienced watching Askeladd as a leader, as a man, and also from interacting with Canute. Probably he's going to learn from that. But
God, I hope you're right about that.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't read ahead or anything, but I just assume. That's people say that Thorfinn gets better, and so like yeah, I assume that's what's happening.
You think they'll get another season? They haven't said anything about that, have they?
I think they will, because I think this has been very popular anime. And Wit Studio, like again, I don't know if they're working on the final season of Attack on Titan or not. There's a lot of like rumors that they're not, basically. And so if they're not, then they're probably going to be working on this, I would assume.
Probably.
That has me worried about Attack on Titan then a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I feel like they'll still somebody will do a decent enough job to end Attack on Titan. But
they better continue with the high quality of Attack on Titan, because that shit has been so good all the way through. They can't fuck it up now. I'm gonna be so pissed if they do. They gotta follow that through to the end. They were so close.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to watch more of this. Like, I'm really tempted to just go pick up where this anime left off in the novels and just read. But, oh man, I don't know. Or the manga, I guess, and keep reading. But I really like what Wit did with this. I think they did another great job. Like, maybe not the same exact level as Attack on Titan, but like pretty damn close. Like, and all of the big moments were great. Like, the fight scenes and like, man, like I can't say enough about how good that knife scene was at the end. Yeah, I don't know. And Askeladd is just one of the most intriguing, like interesting characters I've seen in like an anime in a while. Like just super well written. Just loved the way he ended up.
Yeah, it was good. Yep. It was a very good show. It was one of the best of the season. We'll continue to watch when they come out with more.
Cool. Absolutely. All right, let's do scores. I gave this one a 9 out of 10. It is it's phenomenal. If you haven't watched it, just fucking watch it.
I give it an 8 out of 10. I debated giving it a 9, but I felt like the other shows of season were pretty good too. So it made it hard. Plus, I'm sort of like, ooh, is the next season going to be as good? So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, there's no stars align next season, so it's probably going to be better.
Yeah, one thing that's worrisome about the next season of Vinland Saga is that the best character from the show is no longer in the show.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, that is a little bit of a worry.
So that's where, other characters definitely do need to pick up the slack. But then the thing is, you think about the writer, he was able to write that character. He could be able to write another great character again. So, or form some of the characters we already have into better characters.
Yeah, he's still got Canute, who is pretty decent right now. So
I agree. So yeah, I gave this a 9 out of 10, like Leo. I just thought this was super solid, and can't wait to watch more.
Yep, I agree. It was awesome.
Awesome. So my favorite show this season, according to scoring, was Vinland Saga. Bcoms, what were yours?
Mine was the tie between Vinland Saga and Chihayafuru. So favorite original show of this season, I would say Vinland Saga. Mm-hmm. Chihayafuru being a continuing show.
Okay. I mean, mine was a good tie too, wasn't it? Because I think I gave 3 shows an 8.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
What was the other one?
Legend of Galactic Heroes
Beastars.
Beastars, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Wow, yeah, 3-way tie. That's big.
I had a 3-way. Are you surprised?
Okay. I had a 3-way. Jesus Christ.
But
So that was Vinland Saga, Beastars, and Galactic Heroes, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All good picks.
Yeah, those are pretty solid. Anything else you guys would like to add before I close this out?
Just that we're hoping to get back on our normal schedule now. We should have Impressions episode coming on winter stuff within the next few weeks.
I am going to take the whip back up. I think this is what needs to happen. I just really need to be bearing down on these dudes, being like, are you sure? This is the schedule.
No, I'm excited to get back to the normal schedule.
For a second, I'm excited for the whip.
Oh, yeah, baby. You know me. No, yeah, and I'm excited, especially because I think not only this season, but I think this year is going to be a good one for anime. Looking forward to what we have coming. I'm pretty excited. So I think we'll have a lot of great stuff to talk about.
All right. With that, thank you everybody for listening. Remember to follow, and subscribe to us on YouTube to get updates on new podcasts or videos. You can also find our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher, and follow us on Twitter at Nerdom and Other for updates as well. Come hang out on our Discord because we have fun over there, and I wish more people would talk more because it's always a fun time. And with all that, we'll see everybody next time.
Bye.
See ya.